What's up, everybody? Sorry for, I don't know, just kind of last minute. Is this working? Yeah, you like that? Right in your ear? What an asshole. Yeah, we're doing a live stream tonight. Why not? It could be fun. Yeah, I was gonna go out and touch grass tonight, but it just didn't end up happening that way. So now I'm on here, and I've had this idea for a while. I was gonna do a whole video about it, but it's just too much shit. I don't know. Pat the NES Punk's video game years. If you've seen that show, I love the '80s. That's basically what this is. I don't know. I felt like it was a better thing to stream than it was to make a video on. So that's why I'm here right now. What's up to everybody in the chat, which I can't get to work on OBS for some reason because this app is starting to piss me the fuck off. So yeah, we live to 21 people. It might, people hear the Pat thing. Dancing with Ghosts is talking about Pat, and they come a flocking. So I think once we start watching video game years, we'll get some more numbers here. I think it's an interesting show to watch. Actually, I just realized I did not download the actual episode, so that's fine. You get to watch me stall, which is fine because this is free. So how can you really complain at that point? And you know what? Still waiting for more people to join anyway, so I don't even give a shit. Okay, here we go. We're gonna do this, and we're gonna do that. Oh, I do plan on keeping up the content. Don't you worry. All right. No, shut up. Shut up. Just give me the episodes to download. We're starting with the year 1977. I don't know why video game years, this show. Now, like, Pat likes to talk about the fact that, like, oh, nobody really did shows like this. It went from 2012 to 2015, I want to say. And Pat's like, yeah, no one did shows like this where they talked about video games, in the history of it or whatever. I don't know. Does anybody remember a channel called G4? Like on TV, if you had like the fucking cable package that included it. Most people know about G4 TV. Yeah, no, they like absolutely talked about that kind of stuff. G4 Icons, that show fucking was awesome. Anyway, this stuff existed way before video game years. I remember one of my first Pat videos, I kind of talked shit about it. I've kind of been watching it, and it's okay. You get to see a lot of, like, YouTubers. Some of them went on to become something. Others didn't. So that's what we finna do. G4 Tech TV. Yeah, Tech TV merged with G4 when the ratings started going shitty. And then they just literally started playing episodes of Cops. That's a U.S. show. If you're not in the U.S., then you may not know what the fuck I'm talking about. All right, let's go down here now. All right, just pull it up. Okay. All right, I'm putting the headphones for this one. So anyway, I'm going to be commenting on Pat's video game years show. He's got like 13 episodes. I plan on doing all of them because they're entertaining. They're not owned by a corporation, so I shouldn't get a copyright takedown or strike or whatever. But who knows? Maybe I will. That's the excitement of seeing this shit live. Now stand for a moment of silence. Sorry. All right, got it. Starting off in 1977. Why so early in the whole pantheon of video gaming history? I don't know. I think that's a little early for me, but I'm not Pat. It wasn't just Pat, though. It was the guys from GameSack, Joel Redifer and Dave White, and then there's some other people who wrote this show. Pat kind of likes to make it seem like it was just him. Like this was all his idea, but it really wasn't. There was like 4 other people involved in the making of this show, so we'll see.
The only way you can play any of them is on a home video system made by Atari.
So you think you're a video game fan?
Oh yeah. Before I even start this shit, I do want to say he straight up ripped off I Love the 80s. I mean, he even says as much. Like, he like that VH1 show. I've streamed it many times in the past on here. Yeah, this was a complete ripoff of I Love the 80s. Dude, I want to sign into chat on OBS. Okay, well, I'm on there now, so cool.
Well, put a quarter up, Arcade Rat. It's the video game years, and this is 1977.
1977 was truly an interesting time to be a gamer. Probably.
The trends, the culture, the toys, the flicks, the games. A truly remarkable year that gave us these burning questions. What was in the ball pit at Chuck E. Cheese?
Just a petri dish of children's crap everywhere.
Why was everything wood
Oh yeah, you're probably not gonna know who like more than half of these people are. Like the talking heads on here. You're probably not gonna know who most of these people are.
panel?
My ultimate video game room, it
That's the Game Chasers. I've never seen a single episode of their show, but I hear it's pretty good. Rest in peace to Jay, is it? One of them died.
would be just like this. Wood paneling everywhere. The entire room would be made of wood.
How could red dots be so realistic?
Billy, goddamn, sorry. I just never watched him. I'm not
Plus
trying to
the
be
spaceships
disrespectful.
that made arcades a hit.
Pew, 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 and you know, who wouldn't want to play that?
And a leather company makes good. Because you love video games. These are the
Oh man, the one guy kept going. Jay kept going. When it was the two of them the whole time. Jeez, that's fucking sad as fuck.
video game years, and this is 1977.
Insert coin. You're watching the most exciting.
They even did like the fucking vocoder effect. Insert coin. That I Love the 80s did. I mean, they literally like just ripped off I Love the 80s on VH1 and just did it like a video game version or whatever. But like I said, I already kind of watched some of these because I was gonna make a whole like edited video about it. But the more I watched it, I'm like, I just honestly feel like this would play better as a live stream than like an edited video. Not to mention each episode's like 50 minutes long and there's 13 of them, and I'm not watching that much of some, you know, I Love the 80s rip-off internet show.
Game you will ever see.
But it's a
on
good
your
live
TV
stream
net.
idea, I think.
Telstar by Coleco with 3 different games. Telstar Tennis.
Rue, that one guy with the glasses, got in trouble for filming people in the bathrooms. What? Pat mentions this Rue guy all the time on his podcast, and I always wondered who the fuck he was talking about. The guy with the glasses that they just showed, is that this Rue guy that he's talking about?
With digital scoring, variable speeds. Telstar Hockey. Each player controls a goalie plus a forward on the other side. Oops, a goal.
The original Pong. This came out in 75.
All right. Lance Cortez and John Delia. I know John Delia was one of the executive producers of this show. I swear to God, if you listen to Pat's podcast at any point in your life, anytime video game years gets brought up, he makes it sound like it was his creation. Like he just did everything. He never really mentions anybody else. And it's like there's like, you had the GameSat guys behind the scenes. You had that John Delia guy who I guess was affiliated with RetroWare TV at the time. I don't know.
So,
oh yeah, Pat actually did have video game years on DVD that he did sell, and I think he's the only one that sold them. I don't think the GameSat guys or anybody else sold them.
between 75 and 77, a whole mess of Pong clones
Yeah,
started
James
coming
Rolfe
out.
is
Suddenly,
yeah, he's-
everybody wanted to put.
Bro, look at how much of a baby Norm. I love how they couldn't put him above the little lower third there. They got his chin cut off. The first episode is rough. I saw 1986 and they got a little bit sleeker with the sound and everything. They got better at it, but like the first episode's a little rough, but whatever. I'm not going to nitpick too much.
Without a dedicated console to a game.
You would buy a system, plunk down so much money, like actually.
So is that the Rue guy, the guy with the glasses there, the guy who, according to the guy in the chat, film people in bathrooms or whatever? Well, that's crazy work, bro.
Actually, quite a bit of money, $100, $200, and more likely than not, you were getting a Pong clone.
Oh wow, Pong systems in the late.
There's our guys, bro. It's like it looks like they both have AIDS, like because they're so skinny and weird looking now. Like I'm so used to how they look now. Like Pat looks like an old. Bro, Pat needs to bring that haircut back because the curly hair, dude, it's not doing it for him.
70s. You get so many different kinds. Christ.
They were the same game with different names, okay? Same game, same concept, different names. But they were.
Norm rules for calling Pat bland with confidence. Oh, yeah. I loved that. I love that, like, Norm actually, and they were like really good friends. I love that Norm like gave him like a fair review. And I own this book. I've pulled it out a billion times on these live streams. I own his first book. They did the Brett Weiss interviews or reviews or whatever. And yes, it is bland. That was a perfect way to describe it. The reviews were bland as fuck. The reflections were okay, I guess, but like, yeah, it's just way too wordy.
We're all Pong.
Yeah, it's a theater of the mind.
Some popular variations include hockey, handball, tennis, and my personal favorite, AP Debate Club, College Edition. Oh, that's a valid point. Well, allow me to retort.
By this point, I think.
Wow, even the corny jokes of I Love the 80s are intact here. I didn't realize just how much they ripped off from that show.
By 77, they're really squeezing blood from a stone with these Pong systems.
And they, there were the light gun games that were weak.
Yeah, hey kids, you want to get shot?
No, I
by
think
a
Pat
cop?
and Frank are lovers.
And
That's
the
my
controllers
personal
were
opinion.
usually attached to the system, so they didn't have standalone controllers.
All of them, all these dedicated consoles had these. What the hell?
This.
Why is he trying to tear the thing open? What the fuck?
Oh, this was revolutionary,
This is
my
a
friends.
controller, guys.
Oh yeah.
Now you kind of see why drugs were so prevalent, I think.
This guy looks like he would have big old pepperoni nipples. I don't know why. He just gives me that vibe that if he took his shirt off, he just have big old sliced pepperoni nipples. This guy.
I'm sticking by that.
See, I feel like these Pong consoles were just as much like a fashion statement as they were a preference in game. Because you could get the hot orange, or you could go for something a little bit more subdued. A little more wood
Got some
grain. A
peps.
little bit of wood grain.
Yes, because everything was wood grain back in the 70s.
Because when you think high quality electronics, you think it must be made of wood.
And you gotta
I miss
love
wood
the
grain,
wood
personally.
on these things, man. All the consoles. I love the consoles of the.
Okay, so who died here? I'm not trying to be morbid, not trying to be disrespectful. Is the guy on the left or the guy on the right? The fat guy or is it Jay and Silent Bob over here of video games? Is it Jay or is it Silent Bob? I need to know. On the right. Oh, okay. Huh. I like his jacket. It's kind of like an Angry Joe variant.
The 70s with the wood grain. It's so slick and so nice.
To match their wood grain walls, their wood grain.
I know I just acted a little surprised just then, so I should probably qualify my surprise. I thought I'd be the fat guy. I really would. I thought it would be the fat guy. But see, this is why you can't count fat guys out, because though they may be fat, cancer's a fucking bitch, dude. Fuck cancer, by the way. Not a fan of it. I don't support it. Defund cancer. And any other weird biological abnormality that may afflict you.
Tables.
The wood-colored television.
Yes, because everybody wanted their house to look like a forest.
You had, let's see, Odyssey was a big company.
Yeah,
You
I
had
thought of some brain
APF,
thing myself.
Had a lot, and Coleco had a ton of them.
Coleco introduced a dedicated game console known as the Telstar.
A game you play yourself. Telstar handball, tennis, hockey. All three at an exciting low price. For great family fun, hitch your TV to a Telstar by Coleco.
Now, funny thing about Coleco, the actual name stands for Connecticut Leather Company. That's right, back in the 50s when Coleco started, they basically manufactured shoe leather, and then they went on to do like pool molding and plastics for swimming pools.
Them getting into video games was
No, I do
really
not
just a matter
dye
of
my
natural
beard or
progression.
hair.
And later known for the cabinet.
Actually, if I get close enough, you can see there's grays in there. You see them? But you have to consider, I have like good lighting in here. If you just saw me in normal light, I'm ugly as fuck.
Batch kids, little known fact.
Yes.
Atari naturally was pushing the pack, even with its dedicated consoles. It was coming up with alternatives to Pong, like honest to God alternatives.
This was a cool one.
Thanks, Analog. I'm
This
glad
camera.
you're enjoying it.
Vroom, the Stunt Cycle by Atari.
You know what, Michael Lanier? Guy I went to fucking elementary school and middle school with? I'd like to see how many fucking grades you have, my friend. You're a year older than me. Don't think I forgot. I didn't.
Rubber grips.
I
This
can
is
tell
all
you some
did.
stories about that guy in the
You go
chat,
faster
Michael Lanier.
Or slower. Faster, slower. Very complex.
No, that's not all
What,
you did.
what?
Look, you could be a stunt cyclist,
What?
or a drag racer, or you could do some motocross, or enduro, which I don't think is actually a thing, but I see that word on a lot of 70s, games.
Yeah, kind of a depressing time.
See, Michael Lanier using emoticons instead of emojis? That's how old he is. Old ass.
So Pizza Time Theater was created in the late 70s by Nolan Bush.
Okay, would anyone have ever guessed that this guy right here would have, like, what, isn't it like 1 million subs or some shit? Norm? Man, he really came into his own. I don't know. You know what I liked about Norm? He never tried to be funny because he knew he wasn't. So he didn't try. Like, I think because Pat is kind of one of the daddies of this show, Video Game Years, he really tried to play up like the personality. Like, I'm the personality. I'm the guy with the, I'm wacky. I'm all over the place, man. Like, he really thought that, like, that's what people would want to see and find entertaining, when most people on this show, from what I've seen, they're just being themselves, not Pat. He's got to be over the top. And over the top, not funny. Not funny when he does it, at least.
No.
And Nolan Bushnell, knowing that he wanted to build up the marketplace for kids and video games, decided, well, it's pizza, animatronic mice, and other creatures, and arcade games. It was a perfect combination.
Pizza, video games, tickets, tokens, skee ball.
All in the same place. Everything right there under one roof for the family.
Games and all kinds of creatures. Or taste the Pizza Time Theater.
Hitting the frog with the rubber mallet.
It's possible. An entire economy based around Super Balls started right then.
Dude, Ian, I don't think Ian ever looks at the camera in this entire episode. He's so just nervous. Such an uncomfortable person to be on camera.
The arcade games were more difficult there. Try playing Breakout when the arcade stick is all lubed up with pizza grease.
One thing I remember about Chuck E. Cheese was
Lubed
that
up is a weird
they
word
had
to
the main
describe a
door
children's,
for the adults,
like, place.
And then they had the little kitty mouse type door right next to it, where you get on your knees and crawl on in. And you always see the fat kid struggling to get into that door, and it was awesome. You just, took some of the pizza grease, lubed them up, and then kicked his piece around the door.
Or you can lube them up with that fluid that accumulated in the ball pits.
Yeah, which was usually piss and spit.
Kids, those are not raisinets in the ball pit.
Chuck E. Cheese, who'd have thought that?
A spokes being for your restaurant, a giant rat.
So that rat we all know and love.
A joke that I'm sure every 90s hack comedian has made 1 billion times, but this is 2012, ladies and gentlemen. This is not the early 2000s when VH1's I Love the 80s first premiered. No, this was years after. And yet, the quality, I mean, I guess it's an internet TV show, so whatever. What do you want? It was free, I think. What was even stupider about this show is they broke it up into like 3 or 4 parts. If you go to Pat's channel right now, it's just the full intact episode, and there's only 13 of them. But if you go on the IMDb, it's technically considered 63 episodes, broken up over 4 seasons. But all it is just part 1, part 2, part 3, and each part, I guess they count it as episodes, which I've never heard of that shit. That's some YouTube shit right now.
Love, created by the Atari guy, Bushnell.
The health code violations alone.
Nolan Bushnell was a big fan of Disney, which is probably why he paid homage to it by making the restaurant's mascot a giant rat.
Can you think of the size of the turds? Are they called turds or are they pellets?
Ha ha! That's my fake laugh, by the way. I know it's annoying and I know it's obnoxious, and that's the point, because it's not a funny joke, so I'm going to do a really obnoxious, dumb-sounding laugh whenever somebody tries to make a joke on here.
With a bunch of banjo-playing animals with him.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that would lead to what became the band, which is actually now gone from the current Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh,
sadly.
Some Chuck E. Cheese trivia for everyone.
Approximately every
Pat looks so much more normal back then. I don't know what the fuck happened to him.
12 minutes, the characters perform original 4 to 5 minute cabaret-like presentations drawn from a library of approximately 250 programs.
And hang out with your friends while some creepy mice sang terrible songs to you.
Whenever, they need maintenance and so the arms and stuff are falling off, they look like zombie animatronics.
People were more easily amused then. This is the decade that gave us the pet rock.
Arcades were kind of seedy and gross, and
mullet-wearing thugs.
I'm very, very glad that they decided to give children a place to actually play arcades that didn't involve possibly being molested.
Dorks were mean in the 70s.
That's something that
they're all
was just
lining
said.
up, greasy-faced.
They were associated with criminals and punks and teenagers and
rampant.
Arcades were associated with all those things? Really? Dude, I was so young when like Aladdin's Castle was shut down in the mall. Like I have very little experience with like true arcades. They have barcades now and kind of like facsimiles of arcades, but I went to a true arcade very few times, because even though I'm like 37, like by the time I got old enough to where I would enjoy something like that, they were already like gone. It was already turned into a shoe store in the mall. So I didn't truly get to experience the wonder of arcades. But were there thugs and gangs and shit there? I don't know. It seems what they're talking about.
Drug use and sex and alcohol and
cocaine, motorcycle gangs, cigarette burns.
Bro, you see how Ian how he never looks at the camera, bro? Like how insecure? I mean, there's nothing wrong with being insecure. I mean, we all get insecure. Every time I pull my pants down in front of a girl, I get insecure. Consensually, by the way. No, I don't just randomly do that. At least not on Fridays.
That's what arcades were then.
And now, Pat Contry presents the pop culture of 1977.
Pat Contry here with the pop culture that inspired video games.
Man, that's some good green screen right there. Let me tell you, buddy. Jesus, that lighting is so consistent with a dark theater. Doesn't at all look like you're sitting in front of a green screen.
In 1977. The Amazing Spider-Man. Not so amazing.
Don't worry, my vape's here. I just haven't
Super Friends
felt the
cartoon
urge to hit
still
it
going
yet.
strong. This year, we met the Wonder Twins. Yeah.
I'm Ron Howard. This is Grand Theft Auto.
And Grand Theft Auto, directed by Ron Howard. A movie where the hero beats up prostitutes and old women for their pocket change. Or not.
Grand Theft Auto is a love story. With cars.
And those were the pop culture moments of 1977 that inspired video games.
Pat moves his body like he's animatronic. Like, he doesn't move in like a normal way. Look at that face. You can, I don't know, I can almost like see the pain in his eyes of like not getting all the Happy Meals and Nintendo games that he wanted when he was a child. I can see the pain. I don't know if you guys can. I can see it clearly.
Remember, there's other things in the world besides video games. They're just less important.
Trying again.
Coke floats. Yeah, exactly. Coke. No. He wasn't deprived of Coke floats. Let's get this right. He was deprived of Coke float glasses. The glass that the Coke float goes in. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, I made a whole video about it. He does this Twitch thing where he watches these old fucking stupid commercials that nobody gives a fuck about. He doesn't even comment on like 75% of them. He just watches them and collects the money. Now, for all you old school Josh trolls out there who like to throw out the grift term, to me, that is a grift, my friend. That is the definition of a grift. What I'm doing is just fucking around, having fun, hanging out with my, I don't know, fans. I don't know. Do I call you people fans? Watchers? I think watchers is probably better than fan. I think fan is a bridge too far. I'm a Josh troll, but not that old school. Well, get with the fucking program and learn the terminologies, bro. Calling me a grifter, number one thing that you do if you're a classic Josh troll. And making fun of my blue hair. Oh, can't do that anymore. Sorry for your loss. Anyway, let's get back to this shit.
Yeah, nobody remembers the RCA Studio 2.
No.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if this system didn't sell badly and get discontinued.
Wink.
So it's a collectible kind of.
Aw, thanks,
but not
dog.
really, because
Thanks,
nobody wants it.
Ice Hockey Jedi.
Still nobody wants it.
Ice Hockey
Who
Olympics.
has this thing?
Oh yeah, the RCA Studio 2. No, it's not an intercom you'd find in a hospital. This is a game console.
Now, unlike dedicated consoles, this system was important because it used cartridges. It also didn't have those goofy built-in controllers like some of the dedicated consoles. It was the controller itself. And that'd be fine, except it forced you to sit practically on the lap of the other player, and my friend has dander.
It was actually a cartridge system that came out before the Atari VCS.
Oh, RCA, the people who made the television.
Look at these game cards with graphics that look like something out of either an airline safety card or a commercial for an art school from 1984.
Ian, once again, not making eye contact with the camera ever. What are you, like fucking Johnny Depp in the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial? Where Johnny Depp vowed to not look at Amber Heard ever? I think he made some quote like, "You're never going to see my eyes again. I'm not going to look at you." It's pretty much Ian with the fucking camera right now. Jesus Christ, the hell?
And little known fact about the RCA Studio 2 is that little dog listening to the phonograph machine, that's what powers the RCA Studio.
Now that makes sense.
Yes.
I wonder why it didn't sell very well.
Told you.
I'm sorry, I'm hung up on how out of their way they went to make this thing look incredible.
Oh my god, he finally looked at the camera. Kinda.
It's beige. I mean, the script is not exciting. Home TV programmer? I mean, what does that mean?
I don't know if Ian has a lazy eye. I don't think he does, but and hear me out here, because I know this isn't going to make any sense. Ian looks like a guy who would totally have a lazy eye. Ian looks like a guy who, like, when he looks at the camera, like, one eye is just, like, off, looking kind of the other way. I don't have any way to describe, like, what I'm even talking about right now, but it's something that I feel. It just feels like he would have a lazy eye. I don't even know what that means, but it's just something I'm feeling right now.
A clear button. I don't know another console has a clear button on it.
I don't know what that means. And then, I mean, there's these two little fucking poison spikes that you can impale your hands on.
Look at these electrified little spikes right here.
I mean, I'm sure they fit the cartridge, but...
Bro, is there anything funnier than when someone has a lazy eye and they're smiling at you? they just look straight up retarded. That's not the word I meant to say. It rhymes with that. I can't say it on here, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna lie, bro. The other day, some girl like who I knew. She wasn't some random person. So hopefully that makes what I'm about to say a little bit less insulting. But I knew her, but she didn't always have one. I don't know what the fuck happened to her, but she was smiling at me, a little bit of a lazy eye, and it looked very derpy. Maybe it's because I've seen that Mega Man, that old ass Mega Man meme, the derp meme, so much. Hope that made one of you laugh out of the 100 losers who have nothing better to do on a Saturday night than to hang out with me, making fun of my own audience. That's what I do.
It just looks dangerous.
It came out at a bad time. It didn't last much past the first year.
No. Have you ever heard of the RCA Studio One?
No.
That was a clock radio from 1957, I think. Where's the studio?
Why is he doing that? You don't think it's that funny, dude. You don't think it's that funny. Bad acting, as always, from Pat. That's what you can come to expect, quite frankly.
The Studio One played an awesome game called Calculations. That's the game the Studio One played. Edition Adventures.
Well, they thought it would sell really well because of the public's clamoring for only black and white.
It didn't
yeah,
help that
if you want to be one of
Studio
those guys
2
and
was
get
only
technical,
black and white.
yes, it's Sunday morning.
No, just like the eyes of Michael Jackson. There's no color.
Even though in 77, not many people had color TV still, but you wanted to try to at least do the color. Some of the Pong systems supported color.
Oh, I would never call early days Pat Contry ugly because he's a fellow Paisan. You know, he loves talking about his Italian heritage so much. Even though I'm almost 90% sure he's just as Italian as I am, I just don't ever talk about it because it doesn't matter to me whatsoever. But, you know, with that being said, as a fellow Paisan, I will never call a young Pat unattractive. You know, because us young Italians are studs, you know, Italian Americans. Hey, I'm trying to walk over here with my ish, my gabago.
Black and white not being a racial thing. Being that there were no colors at all.
This is ridiculous. I think everyone's grandma has this underneath some old stereo in some dusty room in their house.
Somewhere in space, this may all be happening right now.
Arguably the greatest movie which started the greatest franchise of all time, and that would be Star Trek.
Damn, that brain tumor already kicking in. Jesus, that was a horrible joke, dude. Come on, man. This is the problem with live streams. There's no editing. There's no self-edit. I would have edited that shit out. Somebody please download this live stream and re-upload it so that can always just be something that I said.
I swear to God.
Star Wars.
I love Star Wars!
So, yeah, there was that Star Wars thing.
So it's 1977, Star Wars comes out, I'm -2 years old.
Oh, Jen Stowe knows why I'm doing this. 1999, can't wait for the new song next month. I can't wait for you to hear it. Been working on some music video stuff. Got the album cover, had the little teaser last stream with the house on fire. Anyway, there's a whole fucking thing. Hey, there's a mod in my chat for once. Holy shit. That's how you know shit's getting crazy, when I have a mod in the chat, because normally it's just me modding my own chat. Paul, hello, welcome. Oh, Julie Bean, however the fuck, $2. I'd love more Corey content. Well, you know what? I'd love for Corey to release more music, because I try to differentiate myself from Jim and them by really only commenting on his music, which is all I've ever done. I honestly don't care about Corey Feldman's personal life. I don't care about him on Dancing with the Stars or anything like that. But the second this dude steps into the music making world, yeah, that's when you arouse my attention, and I gotta shit on it, because it's always bad, and he shouldn't be doing it. And I'm hoping that he'll stop, and that's why I make these videos. The Corey videos, not this video. I didn't make this. I'm just, whatever the fuck, over-explaining shit. Yeah, dude, Meatballs 4, that was a fun... I can't believe that. I can't believe we got to watch that whole fucking movie on live stream. That was awesome. I wish YouTube wasn't so shit as it used to not be, but now it is. No, I'm not getting on Rumbler or Kick or any of those, or Twitch or any of that, so stop telling me to do that.
Was nothing but Star Wars. Give me the Star Wars, don't let them in.
I saved the princess.
Yeah, I never really got into Star Wars, but I'm sure it was pretty cool when it came out.
Dude, who the fuck's not into the original trilogy of Star Wars? I'm sorry, I don't really... I'm not a Star Wars nerd. I'm not a Star Wars nerd by any fucking stretch of the imagination. That is just a rabbit hole that goes so deep that I just don't even give a fuck. But the original trilogy, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, how can you not like those movies? I don't understand. And it's so much better than Star Trek. That's just my personal opinion.
I think Star Wars, I really believe, made sci-fi cool. It made it cool to be a sci-fi geek.
Sup, ladies?
Finally, you can be a nerd and be accepted in the eyes of the general public.
Like it was the cool thing to do to like nerdy things like Star Wars.
Come out of your closets, nerds. Come on. Whoa. Wait. You can leave that Dungeons and Dragons in there. That's the game of the devil.
George Lucas retained the rights for all licensing properties of Star Wars, which was like never done because Fox didn't think this movie was gonna do too great. So like, yeah, whatever, dude, we'll give him the rights, and he made a ton of money.
I mean, to say the least, I collected Star Wars action figures when I was growing up. I think I opened like a third of them, but like 2/3 of them I left in the package because my dad used to buy these Toy Trader magazines. For some reason, oh yeah, it was because we collected Beanie Babies before Star Wars, and we liked, it was just, more than anything, it was just kind of like a fun, I don't know, I guess introduction into like the stock market for kids, I guess you could call it. And then every week or 2 weeks, whenever that magazine would come out, we would see like what went up, what went down, but they had every toy in there, and every variant. And it was like so cool that I don't even remember the name of this magazine, but I would search through, I would see that the Star Wars, the ones from the 70s, before people thought it was going to be this big thing, the ones from the 70s fetched a lot of money, and they still do. The 1997 Kenner collection, they're worthless. Why? Because everybody had the same idea that I did. They're like, oh, the ones from the 70s brought in a lot of money, so let's all hoard the 97 run or whatever. And so everybody owns them in complete in box. And I had like 80 of those motherfuckers. One of them, I believe it was Mace Windu, that you could only get through shipping. It was like 20 UPCs and like $20. And you had to like, it was this special mail-in thing, and you got this Mace Windu one. And even that one, I mean, it might fetch a lot of money now. I'd be pissed if it did. I mean, dude, I sold the whole lot for like $80. I basically got like $1 for each complete, I don't know. I'm sure some of you out there are thinking, you fucking idiot. How could you have done that? But I did what I did.
Remember Star Wars tours being some of my favorite of the early 80s.
It was crazy.
It was
crazy stupid. Like, I mean, there was a toy for everything. Like, even the most obscure, minuscule figure in the cantina, there was a toy for.
Yep. Which I loved.
Star Wars!
Before the late 70s, most video games were, well, just Pong. All of a sudden now, space shooters.
Space Pong.
Who, when they saw the Millennium Falcon get away from the Death Star with the pew 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 and the boom boom boom, you know, who wouldn't want to play that?
Most of the video games in the late 70s, early 80s.
That dude wants his fucking pepperoni nipples pew pew pewed by an escort, if you know what I mean. I mean, I pretty much said exactly what I just meant, so that really wasn't a metaphor. I mean, that was quite literal, but whatever.
We're space-based.
We're space-based.
Space-themed video games are the easiest things to make at the time.
Yeah.
It was like white blips or colored blips on a black background. Mm-hmm. And the black background comes standard.
Wow, space sci-fi. That's awesome. Let's make as many video games as we can based on that concept.
Space Invaders. Space Invaders.
Defender. Galaxian. asteroids.
If there had never been Star Wars, then there probably would never have been games with Space Marines, which means there would be no Doom or no Halo, which would mean that I wouldn't be getting my ass handed to me by 12-year-olds on the internet.
Not to mention the Star Wars arcade game, which came much later but was fantastic. One of the first truly good examples of a movie tie-in video game.
And the great voice samples in the game.
Ian's still not maintaining eye contact with the camera because, whenever you're on camera, it's very totally not disconcerting to see somebody on camera just do this the whole time. Like, yeah, Star Wars, good movie tie-in, totally. I cannot look you in the eye. That's pretty high up there on the if you have autism, you check these boxes list. Like having a really bad ability to maintain eye contact with people. Yeah.
I mean, how many people on the planet say that they've influenced that many people on the planet? George Lucas, Adolf Hitler, Michael Irving. The list is short and.
Dude, what the? George Lucas, Adolf. Okay. Dude, bringing up Adolf Hitler for any reason other than historical purposes at this point, I know this was 2012. It's so fucking hack now to just bring up Adolf Hitler and compare him to things. I don't know. I could make a edgy joke, but I'm not going to.
Sweet.
What?
There have been remakes and a prequel trilogy, but I pretend those don't exist.
No. Oh yeah, this is back when it was still cool to hate the prequels, which I still do, but apparently like there's a whole just batch of Gen Z that's like the prequels. Yes, that's my nostalgia. No, I was old enough to know that the prequels sucked. I think Darth Maul was like the coolest thing that came out of the prequels.
Such a great time in human history when people thought that he could, make good movies by himself. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world that he was competent at making movies.
And then he was able to go on and create Howard the Duck.
Yeah, I don't like the guy with the glasses.
One of the greatest films of all time.
Creeps me
How
out.
can you trust him to ever make something completely on his own after
Pepperoni
that?
nipple over here.
I seriously, I don't get it.
Can we go back in time and make Star Wars not have happened?
Next level. And now Rue presents the gaming innovations of 1977.
Hello, this is Rue with the gaming innovation of 19...
I must reiterate, somebody in the chat said earlier this guy got busted for like filming people when they went to the bathroom. I just think it's funny having that context, watching him now. Watching the slight tones of the green screen reflect off his face in something that's supposed to be a library where there is no green whatsoever. I love this green screening. Good stuff going on here.
1977. What cutting-edge technology was introduced to the world and changed the face of gaming forever? The dual-screen arcade cabinet. Subs, made by Atari in 1977, marked the first time that players could compete against each other with their own unique perspective on the action. In this case, each person would control their own sub and use sonar to locate and destroy their opponent before they could in turn be destroyed.
Pat mentioned it as a topic on the... Oh, you're fucking with me. No, he didn't. He's constantly talking about this Rue guy. That now that I have a face to the name, and I did not expect him to be so Jewish.
Destroyed. This opened up a whole host of opportunities in the field of competitive multiplayer games, not to mention single-player games. Thus, a brave new video gaming world was born. From Cruisin' USA to Counter-Strike to the Nintendo DS.
This dude looks like he literally just came from his bar mitzvah. He looks very Jewish. And there's nothing racist about saying that. It's a race of people that exist, and he looks like that. Much like, an Italian person like myself, or Italian American, sorry. One might say I look Italian. There's nothing racist about that either. I'm just saying this for my lawyers, bro. My lawyer's off screen, like, I got an earpiece. He's telling me what I should and shouldn't say right now.
Can be seen across all gaming platforms. Well, I'll see you again in 1978. And remember, it's not just nostalgia, it's science.
Power up. Only Atari.
$2 super chat, Black Metal Gamer Flock. Cams are hacked by Rue, whacking it to everybody. Are they in the bathrooms too now, I guess? Are they like special cameras that, I don't fucking know.
It makes the world's most popular home video game.
What's up, Lord Bacon the Destroyer?
The only asteroids. The only Pac-Man.
Oh, that Pac-Man. That Pac-Man looks so bad. I remember that from the G4 Icons video they did on Atari. Or the... No, it was a Gaming Crash. G4 did that video on the Gaming Crash of the 80s. And how, like, basically the home consoles, like, the games looked like shit compared to the arcade versions. Which, I mean, Jesus Christ, you could put Pac-Man on, like, a fucking wristwatch right now. Not even like a sophisticated one, like one of those shitty old... I mean, that's how basic that technology was. But even these home consoles with all these circuits and shit, they couldn't get it right. I mean, it looked like... God, it looked so fucking bad.
The only missile command, and now the only defender. And the only way you can play any of them is on a home video system made by Atari.
And of course, probably the biggest video
I thought
game
he just said he was going to see us in 1978. We're still in 1977. Why are we seeing him again?
Call it up.
Atari VCS, the VCS video computer system, later renamed the 2600.
I didn't play the Atari 2600 too much.
Animal!
The beginning of the video game industry as we know it.
We salute you, sir.
I love how inconsistent the audio recording is on here. Some of them have lavalier mics attached to them. Some of them are just using like the onboard like microphone built into the camera, so it's like super echoey in the room. And then some of them are good. Some of the lavalier mics are louder than others. It's just slapped together. This show. Like I said, they get better. I saw the 1986 one just to get a swath because I was gonna do an edited video for this, but I don't know. This reeks of great live stream content. I think it makes better live stream stuff than it would have made an edited video.
It actually came packaged with a game, Combat.
And unlike the other pack-in that came out a couple years later,
Hey, it's Derek. I like this guy. I'm not gonna lie. I like his content. I don't like a lot of videos he does because I just don't care about the game, but I do like me some stop skeletons from fighting. And I even liked him when he was the happy video game nerd. I'm gonna say I like me some Derek Alexander. I haven't watched his shit in a long time because he just oftentimes covers stuff I don't care about, but I like him. I think he's a little underrated. I think Derek Alexander's a little underrated. This guy. Pretty good guy. He got the skeletons fighting. Can't have that. Can't have the skeletons fighting. Gotta have the skeletons united. Gonna elect me as president. I'll unite the skeletons. Day one of election, I'll unite skeletons.
Combat is actually still really fun.
Atari.
You know, this actually retailed around.
Yeah, he's still making videos. I just don't care about the games that he
that's
talks about a lot of times.
It's like, what, $400 now? I'm no scientist.
Inflation adjusted, about $700.
And his girlfriend, I don't know if he's still dating the same chick. I think her name's Grace or something. She's got some big ass titties, dude. I mean, she's kind of fat, but like whatever. Like she's got some big old mommy milkers.
Yes, I looked that up.
And that's another bridge I just burned. If Derek or anybody who knows him ever shows him this, that's another person I won't ever talk to because I just said that. And let's continue to burn more bridges as I go along. Let's see how many bridges I can burn.
Sexy. Extreme 70s.
I'm gonna say it's a little too sexy.
Too sexy?
A little too sexy.
The switches, color or black and white. A or B difficult.
Oh, they broke up? Yeah.
Game select. Game reset.
And on this side, there's a switch to change it to HD.
I mean, you might see me taking this little beauty out to dinner one day, and don't get jealous.
You're weirding me out over here.
A little looking.
Why would you take mine out? Dude, you actually just licked my freaking Atari.
Save on the Atari video game and get hours of fun for the whole family. Atari comes complete with the exciting combat cartridge.
I quit soccer to play Atari.
Wait, they were married? Derek and Grace? Vahan Nielsen Nestlina Pedalov, whatever, over here. Some kind of a brown, I would assume, by that name. Unless you're like some kind of Nordic something or other. Says, if I remember correctly, it was announced at the very end of his Faceball 2000 video. No idea what caused the divorce. Okay. Well, I mean, that, I don't know. Maybe it sucks for him. Maybe it doesn't. I'll have to look into that. Oh, I meant to hit play just then. That was supposed to be a lot smoother of a transition than it was just then. That's awkward.
No other company offers you as many different video game cartridges as Atari.
There was a ton of Atari 2600 versions, from like the Vader to this heavy six switcher.
That's the Vader.
To the Junior.
The Junior.
Way too many.
This was the system to coin the term joystick, which was good because before that point they were called enjoyment input devices.
Yeah, Atari came up with this idea, this little thing, joystick. Brilliant. They made the term joystick a household name.
The controller was just really cool. It was genius. It was joystick and a button. That's it.
All right, Norm, thank you for that very insightful commentary there, explaining what a joystick is on an Atari 2600. That's really good. Good stuff there. I love you, Norm. Still love you, buddy.
You had all sorts of crazy contraptions controlling games. There wasn't really much of a standard. You had all manner of knobs and buttons and cell phone looking things. I still don't get.
Hello?
But this thing, anyone can pick this up.
And frankly, I hate them because they were the first time controllers were biased against a lefty. They were designed to be held in the right hand with the action button.
Oh, let me guess, Ian, you fucking hipster, you're a left-handed guy? You're probably not. You're probably just saying that just to be different. Because that Ian strikes me as that guy. He he's the OG hipster. We already know this about Ian. Yeah, Atari, all these fucking video game systems that they're talking about, honestly, the graphics make me depressed. Like, I guess if it was either like that or nothing, I guess I would take that. They're very depressing games to look at. They're very shitty. The graphics are just too shitty. I can't go earlier than like the 8-bit Master System. Not Master. Is it Master System? Whatever. The NES and Sega's answer to the NES. I can't go earlier than that. It's just the graphics are just, they're just too shitty. I can't. I've tried. I've seen too much of what could be. Even when I was a kid, we had a Atari, and I had already played like Super Mario or whatever, Mario on the NES. And after that, it's like, I can't go back to something shittier than this. And the NES had some pretty shitty games with some pretty bad graphics, but they were still better than Atari or ColecoVision or Intellivision or whatever Vision.
Here, if you're a lefty, you kind of got to get this claw thing going on.
This was like the Wii.
Yeah, I guess kind of
for
a
the
graphic
70s.
Queen, maybe.
Dumb it down.
They were also removable, had longer cords than anything that came prior, such as some of the Odysseys.
I know, joystick, right? And smash cut to dick joke in 3, 2, 1.
There you go. You play with your joystick. Your mom comes in and go, "Hey, you're playing with your joystick," and then I'm like, "No, I'm not, Mom."
Well, my guess is that Nolan Bushnell was in his hot tub, sniffing some crack, something started to float up. He goes, "Hey, that's my joystick." That's what we're naming those damn controllers.
You know what's funny? They had, I believe they had Nolan Bushnell later on in this series. I wonder if he saw that earlier episode where this dude, this random guy from RetroWare TV, said he was snorting crack or coke or whatever.
That's why it was so hard and rigid.
Yes.
Joystick. You get joy from the stick.
Only can be thought of when sniffing a whole table full of coke.
Let's come up with a joystick.
One time my mom.
All right. I guess that's something you can say to ingratiate someone to come on your shitty YouTube I Love the 80s ripoff show talking about video games, which he did. So, you know, whatever. Nobody even knows who that. I mean, maybe it's better that way. Maybe nobody knew who he was. Obviously, James Rolfe's not gonna, which he's on this show later on apparently. And Metal Jesus too. Man, Pat, he tapped all of his E-celeb YouTube friends to be on this this fucking thing.
Walked in on me when I was
one button. You know, nowadays you couldn't imagine it, but back then, after Pong, when you had no buttons, one button was huge.
Worked in the 70s and the early 80s, but eventually we need our 16 button mega controllers.
Ah. That's why you're the guy.
Oh, Pat just trying so hard, bro. Trying so hard to be that personality. I'm the funny, crazy talking head guy on this show. That was a brilliant name for that band, the Talking Heads. I love that. Love that for them.
Makes the goofy videos, and I'm just the sidekick.
You would see, eventually, if that stagnant image was there for an extended period of time, and you turned your TV off, you would still see those lines in, hence burn in. So the Atari fixed that issue by changing the colors on the screen after you pause it for a little bit.
Yeah, you didn't want to watch Dukes of Hazzard and then see a Pong paddle on the right side of the screen all the time.
No.
So the great thing about the 2600, for the first time, you could bring the arcade experience home. Space Invaders.
Dude, who grew up in the 90s and you remember those like creative screensavers? I loved all those crazy screensavers they had in the 90s. You're going through the maze, the pipes. They had so many like really like creative screensavers. I would like pirate them off it wasn't even pirating because they weren't charging money. I just like download like these unauthorized screensavers and shit. Like, man, that's some nostalgia right there. Boom, hit me. Oh, flying toasters. Yeah, that was definitely a big one.
Pole position, defender.
Obviously, none of the games that came with it that year in '77 because they were all.
Who the fuck is this guy? Dodongo? One of the little creatures from Zelda?
Kind of crappy. I mean, fun with numbers. What's that?
When this guy came out, it actually blew the Fairchild out of the water.
Channel F, the one with all the fun. The Fairchild Video Entertainment System at your larger JCPenney. The home entertainment system that never gets old. Plug in a new video cart and change the fun. Play tic-tac-toe, shooting gallery, or just doodle. Switch video carts and play Desert Fox. Switch again, it's blackjack. Or play the two built-in games, Pro Hockey or Tennis Champ.
The Fairchild Channel F was the first console.
Dude, DOS games were the shit.
Right here, the Fairchild F.
I missed
very
those
first
DOS
system
games.
to actually have interchangeable, programmable 8 tracks.
You would think it's an 8-track.
Oh, what was it? Commander Keen? Anyone remember that one? DOS games, Commander Keen. Love that game. The graphics were so much better. I mean, go figure, on a computer. Even back in the day, you know, the computer was already the master race. The graphics were like better, different. I don't know if it's better or different. They were definitely different. I don't know if they were better. They probably were. You had fucking Commander Keen. I remember there was this Billy the Kid one on there. Jill of the Jungle. There was like a Street Fighter knockoff that I remember playing on DOS on my aunt's Windows 93 point whatever. It was before 95. 95 was a great operating system. By the way, Windows 95, I love that operating system.
Tape.
No.
But it's not. It's a video game cartridge, and I have no idea how it actually functions. Ah!
The Atari VCS, same way. You have...
Oh, Hugo. Who remembers Hugo? That was a cool game. It was like a text, like input game. You could control them with the arrows, but like I don't know, that was a really cool game. Hugo. I played the fuck out of those.
The cartridges, you buy those, and you can finally get away from just having six
yeah,
versions
Windows
of Pong
3.1. There you
on
go.
this dedicated
That was what she
console.
had.
You know,
Windows
you
3.1.
can play different games, you know, like 4 and 12.
Oh, fucking Are You Afraid of the Dark. Afraid of the Dark. That was an amazing game. Holy shit. Now I'm going back in the memory banks. Afraid of the Dark. That game scared the shit out of me. And, you know, now it probably would just be shit. But at the time, though, Afraid of the Dark, so good.
The very first cartridge, number 1, Fairchild 1. This is the first video game cartridge.
Y'all motherfuckers thinking I'm over here playing. Like, I don't know what I'm talking about. No, I played all these games.
To come to market. It had a lot of advantages over the Fairchild Channel F. One was the color palette. The Channel F was awful.
Yeah, I keep saying Afraid of... Oh my god, I'm such a fucking idiot. Yeah, it's Alone in the Dark. Yeah, I kept saying Afraid of the Dark. What a noob. Yeah, Afraid of the Dark, or Alone in the Dark. Shit, I keep wanting to say... it's a Nickelodeon show, Are You Afraid of the Dark? Alone in the Dark, yes. Those games were classic. Yes, I meant Alone in the Dark. I know there's a lag in the chat. I'm just now seeing my folly. But yeah, those games, oh my god, they were so fucking good.
Ow. That's the sound of the very first video game cartridge going into the very first video game cartridge hole.
It's violating the machine.
Obviously, Atari is very primitive by today's standards, but at
Are
the
You
time,
Afraid of the Dark was
it
actually a really
amazing
good show on
system,
Nickelodeon as
and
well.
I
Bunch of
have fond
Canadian
memories of the
kids
Atari
as
2600.
actors.
This
Sorry.
is what made video gaming less niche and more of a household thing.
My earliest video game memories are of the Atari 2600, so it will always hold a special place in this guy's heart.
I mean, you don't see any Fairchild Channel F shirts.
Oh yeah, man, the memories are flooding back. Duke Nukem, right? That was an early 8-bit game, or whatever bit they consider it on PC. That was a really good one. Shit.
Being given out at E3. No. You don't see Pat the NES punk throwing a mini hissy fit because he missed out on grabbing the Magnavox Odyssey throwback shirt. No. Only the Atari shirts. The red Atari shirts. Yes. Did I mention that? I am better at catching shirts than Pat.
High score.
We challenged hotshot Garland Dwyer with a Mattel
Prince of
electronic
Persia,
baseball
that was
game.
another one that I played on the DOS,
Inside a
DOS
tiny
games
computer
for
playing
sure.
like a team
Yup.
of pros.
That was a good
The
one.
computer fires a fastball.
Hey, who's in there?
Electronic baseball, one of 9 sports games from the #1 name, Mattel Electronics.
At this time, integrated chips became cheaper and more abundant, so new companies joined into the electronic gaming craze, like Milton Bradley and Mattel.
It was the integrated chip. That helped spur things.
Dude, Apogee, yes. Lemmings, yes, that was another one. Lemmings, God, that was such a good game on the PC. Played the fuck out of that game with the mouse and shit. It was so much easier with a mouse than it was, because I know they made Lemmings on like consoles and they just never worked the same. It sucked. You really did need a mouse to properly play Lemmings. That was such a cool, like, I don't know, that was just a cool concept. Now you got me all up in my nostalgia, bringing up memories and shit. This is how I know I'm old. Sometimes I think, like, how the fuck am I this old? Like, how did time pass this much? I need proof, and then I remember all this shit. I'm like, oh yeah, I am old as fuck, because, like, I was there. I played the games. I sat in the weird basket chair that... Anyway, I can't even describe... I don't know. My aunt's house was really fucking cool. I spent all my time there because my cousin, he was more like my brother than my actual brother, because we were around the same age, and we fucked around with these... We sucked at them, but we still tried, you know.
It's an integrated chip.
When electronics first started, computers and so forth, you had these big bulky vacuum tubes. You know, and then eventually you moved on to transistors, which were also great. But the integrated
that guy
circuit
apparently peeped
was
at
very
women
important.
who
It
used
was
the
developed
bathroom
in the
on
50s,
camera. I don't know, that's what was said earlier.
But by the time the 70s
That's
came
alleged.
along, it was actually getting cheap enough to stick in whatever the hell you wanted.
It's also alleged that he has big
watches
old
and-
round
and
pepperoni
video
nipples,
games.
this guy.
Mattel used to just make toys, Milton Bradley made board games, and now they're making tiny electronic LED games, or LCD games, that everyone loved.
Everyone loved then, but if you were playing them now, you'd probably hate them.
Oh God, yeah.
So, I mean, you had your video game companies, your electronics companies, kind of the bigger electronics going into home video game consoles like Fairchild and Magnavox.
They found him crawling around on a floor.
But
going
you
from
had the
stall
toy
to stall.
companies that felt they could handle the handheld market. So you had Mattel come out with these little LED games.
So what we have here are the Mattel standalone games.
Soccer.
Auto race to start.
Now, Mattel dipping their toe in the video game waters was important because of course it would eventually lead to the NES smash hit, Barbie, in 1991.
And the big one in 77, football.
Come on, Red Dot. Score a goal. What am I doing?
Football, baseball, lots of games like that. They were simple.
It says on the lower third there, it says from pixels to plastic. Well, wasn't that documentary that they came out with? GameSack and My Life in Gaming came out with a documentary with this exact same title. I don't know who this guy is. He creeps me out, though. He gives me grapey vibes for some reason. Very grapey vibes. Like the fruit.
But you know what? They were fun and became very popular because of it.
And basically what it was just a little red dot going across the screen, and I mean, it's kind of primitive, but it's pretty cool at the time.
I hated sports when I was a kid, but my jockey uncle had football, and it was still awesome because you know what it is? It's Mattel's LED avoidance is basically the name of the game.
You really had to be really creative to see the players on the field. It certainly was no Madden.
The first electronic football games like these were for only one player.
And run.
But something was missing.
Can I play? Wait your turn.
A power sweep. He fights through for the tackle. You pass. He blitzes. Intercepts.
This is real competition.
Huh? Is it Game Boy yet? Bah.
And that case design is the exact same as the one for basketball and largely the same as the one for hockey. Like the Pong Con.
I gotta say, I give no fucks about anything they're talking about right now. This was not relevant to my childhood. I don't remember these games. I don't know anyone who owned these games. So I couldn't care less. You know what I do like to say, though? And people go, nay. I like to say I could care less, but that's a faux pas, apparently. Kind of like calling the country the Ukraine. And it was like, it's actually just Ukraine. Well, I remember when we called it the Ukraine, and it just flows better, the Ukraine. I want to take that back. I wish that was a thing. It used to be. Now you have to call it just Ukraine. I feel like leaving out articles is something foreign people do, you know. I want basketball. I want beer. I want a girl with the, how you say, the American pussy hair. You know, we English speakers, we use articles, a, an, and the basketball, the beer, the American girl with the pussy hair. So that's why I like calling it the Ukraine. What the fuck am I talking about right now, dude?
Consoles, the problems with these is you do eventually run out of things you can do with LEDs and buttons.
They're like, oh, electronic football, red dots moving on a grid.
I'm done.
I mean, I remember people that really didn't give a crap about games but had at least one of these lying around the house. And part of the allure is that they're portable, so you could play them on the go.
Niet da.
See, I'm up 4-2 here in this game. I can't even tell when I scored a goal.
Well, it's all about the brightness of the different LEDs. You really have to be able to tell which one is your man.
Still a handheld, right?
Still a handheld.
And kind of fit in a pocket if you had a really big pocket.
These largely paved the way for the Tiger hand.
Barry, you keep telling me to take a you want to take a shot? I'll take a shot. If it makes you feel better. If it helps you take a shot, I'll take a shot. That's the only reason I'm doing this. As you guys may know about me, I don't really fuck with alcohol. I don't like it. But if somebody keeps telling me to take a shot, well, you know, I'm here for you guys. This is a public service. I will take a shot.
Handhelds of the 80s and 90s.
Oh my god, it's a flask.
The Coleco mini arcades, and were probably a big inspiration in the creation of the Nintendo Game & Watches. These were your first portable handheld systems.
paved the way for
Communion.
You know,
that's exactly
Game
what
Boy,
it is.
Game Gear, the Lynx, DS.
Cerebral
Probably
P
the
coming in
most
with the
little
5
gold.
Canadian drinks. I miss you, buddy. I miss the Wednesday nights. Hope you come back.
Derek just got a
Post.
red card.
Is it Game Boy yet? Yeah.
There you go. There's a shot for you.
And now Pixel Dan presents the toys of 1977.
Hey, I'm Pixel Dan, and
Oh shit, that's Pixel Dan, and I just like said he's grapey. I take it back. Pixel Dan always seemed like a pretty good guy. I didn't know that's who that was. Boy, do I feel silly.
these are the other toys of 1977.
It's Pulsar, the ultimate man of adventure. You energize his heart, lungs, and body fluid into pulsating action.
We had action figures like Pulsar, who was this crazy man who you could see through his body and all his inner...
What's my chaser, you may ask? This is something, it might be regional. This is Sprite Zero with tea. Tea and Sprite. I love it. I think it tastes great. Get it for a limited time. I don't think they're going to keep this shit going very much longer.
workings in his organs and blood flow, and wow, disgusting, but highly popular.
This is a slime monster. The slime runs out of his mouth.
The introduction of slime. This became a staple in the world of...
You know what? Never mind. I take it back. He does come across as grapey. I'm reinstating that. It just gives me the creeps a little bit.
action figures, and 1977 gave us our first taste.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Sprite with tea is a regional thing. I can't see that being
The
seen
loser
everywhere.
has to clean up.
Star Wars figures. R2-D2. Chewbacca, Luke, and Princess Leia. They're the Star Wars early bird set of figures. These action...
Dude, even loose, believe those pieces of shit, and they look like shit. Those pieces of shit, even loose, fetch like $50 to $100. At least they did in the 90s. I don't know how much they fetch now. I will eBay this while I let this play.
Figures are not yet available.
Because I am
Well,
curious.
Kenner was set to release their brand new line of Star Wars action figures that same year in 1977. But the problem was they did not have the toys ready in time to hit Christmas that year. So what did they do? Well, something kind of ingenious. They started the early bird certificate. Basically what that meant was parents who were out Christmas shopping could buy an empty box. Yes, an empty box that had the Star Wars logo.
Okay, so I'm here to report after like going through eBay right now, the 70s Star Wars toys have gone down a lot. They do not fetch what they did in the 90s. This is how long I've been out of the Star Wars collecting game. Dude, that shit, I'm seeing a 1970s Chewbacca with gun, near mint, $40. Dude, oh man, if you were sitting on those babies thinking they were going to pick up more steam, they went down. The stock market went down on the 1970s Star Wars toys. Unless you have it in the packet. Oh my God. That's crazy. I swear to God, if the 1997 ones went up, I'm going to kill myself. I probably can't say that on stream, but I just did.
On it with this little piece of paper inside that said, "We promise to send you the first 4 figures after Christmas when they're ready to ship." And you know what? It worked.
Early bird certificate package. New from Kenner.
I'm Pixel Dan, and that's the other toys of 1977.
Game over. Introducing Apple II, the easy-to-operate home computer. Just hook it up to your TV to create dazzling color displays. Or you can balance your checkbook. Kids can teach themselves arithmetic. Or the family can invent...
No need to worry. The 1997 Star Wars toys are still just as worthless as they've ever been, so I really didn't make that bad of a call by selling all mine a long time ago, complete in box. Oh my God, the amount of people who have raging hard-ons for the Apple II. How many times have you heard people talk about the fucking Apple II? I feel like I've talked about it a lot.
Their own Pong games. The possibilities are endless. It's called Apple II, the personal computer.
The Apple II was released at the West Coast Computer Fair in 1977 by Atari alumni, Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs.
When he was getting ready to release the Apple II, he actually went to Nolan Bushnell and asked for funding if they would back his company to bring out this computer, and Atari and Nolan Bushnell said no. Probably not a good decision looking back now.
These things were everywhere, and they were great. They were the workhorses of the, educational computer industry for all of the 80s and honestly a good chunk of the 90s.
This was an important moment, not only for video games and PCs, but for education as well.
The Apple II, obviously, I thought was a great product. I remember growing up in school and playing a lot of it.
Was that the lead singer of the Counting Crows, the guy they just showed there with the glasses? That I guess is associated with the Game Chasers? Is that Adam Duritz or whatever his name is? Adam Jewish guy. That's what I'm thinking over there.
Elementary school and middle school, which is kind of like a long span. You think 8 years, the same damn computer at the school.
And that computer was there before and after that,
yes.
too.
Yes.
But of all these influences, few are more positive than the Apple II, the computer that's used by more schools than any other. It's one influence parents even encourage at home.
You know what? Now that I think about it, in first grade, we did have an Apple computer in our classroom. And in the library. Yeah, they were Apple. Fuck. I still have a fucking printout. Josh did good today, some progress report or something. And then on the back it says, made with an Apple II, I believe. It was like early 90s. Surely they would have evolved by then. Maybe it just said made by Apple. I don't know. But it was like an Apple thing. Interesting.
But we warn you, like many things a kid can pick up in school, it can be contagious.
Back in my day, we didn't use computers. We used rocks and wood.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we did our computing.
Pretty much.
Steve Wozniak's pretty much a genius, I think.
Wozniak?
Yeah.
Steve Jobs, thank you guys.
Thank you, Steve Jobs, for inventing the Apple II.
Wow.
Rest in peace, Steve Jobs. I still think computers are
Damn, he was already dead by, I guess, 2012? Damn, when did Steve Jobs die? I thought he was alive around that time.
Apple becomes a huge success, revolutionizes music players and computers and all that good stuff. Atari ends up publishing Dragon Ball Z fighting games.
There was the Apple II, the Apple IIe, the 2C, and the 2GS, but most people stopped at the 2E, and they kept at the 2E until they hit the mid-90s and they needed a PC.
Have you ever seen the original Apple logo? It's ugly.
So there was no Apple II cult of consumerism back then?
I don't believe so.
Young Steve Jobs was a lieutenant back in the Air Force in the 1930s when the Roswell crash occurred.
Okay, they're just like fucking off at this point. What the fuck are they going on about?
Yeah, not many people know this. There were actually 2 downed craft, and then 1 still hovering.
Steve Jobs worked for Atari before going to Apple, and Steve Wozniak actually worked on the Breakout game for Atari. So they really had a kind of a gamer's mindset when they were making the Apple II.
Space Quest series got its start on there. King's Quest got its start on there. Sierra got their entire...
Why does he have his hood on? Like, is he just... I don't know. Is he about to go to, like... Was he in, like, fucking... I don't know, like, Animal Collective or something? Was he about to play some, like, indie rock show after this? Like, he's just too cool. He's got that... He has to have the hood on. That's how... Was he cold? Like, why the hood? I don't understand that. I sound like a fucking 1950s dad right now. Take that hood off, son. You're inside.
Start on the Apple II with Mystery House. Beneath Apple Manor was one of the first really great roguelikes on the system. Rogue got its start on there.
Lode Runner, Castle Wolfenstein, Robotron.
Prince of Persia. And things
There's a dude from Counting Crows.
No wonder I almost flunked grade school.
You know, I really love the ones... Love is a strong word. I really hated the ones where you're in a room and you had to get out and you basically had to type in the directions. You know, you're in a dark room, you have a knife, what do you do? And I just could not use my imagination to figure out any.
Yeah, that was the Hugo games. You had to do. Yeah, it was all like text based. I mean, you could control them like the character with the keys, but like all your you got. It's kind of like coding to a certain degree. You had to type in the exact right command for Hugo to do what you wanted him to do. But you know, that was all part of the fun. Like, you had to get it right and figure it out. It made you think.
Anything, basically.
You had a lot of the arcade games released on the 2E, the early ones like Frogger, correct?
You did. You had Frogger. Dig Dug. I remember my grandparents had Dig Dug.
Gold Rush, Oregon Trail, King's Quest.
Oregon Trail. You can't go wrong with Oregon Trail. But you know,
dude, Oregon Trail 2 was where it was at. Windows 95, Oregon Trail 2, way better than the first Oregon Trail. They improved on it in every way. Oregon Trail 2, that game was the shit. Especially when you were on the trail and you found an abandoned buggy or whatever they called it, like a cart or whatever. And you could just like raid it for supplies because like everyone died, like I guess on that particular expedition. That was always the shit when you found an abandoned buggy with no horse. You could just raid it for like supplies. Dude, I haven't even thought about these games in like over 20 years.
Something I sucked at the game. I'll admit it right here.
MECC got their name made on the Apple II. They were responsible for such hits as Odell Lake, Oregon Trail, which everyone knows and loves. If you've ever died of dysentery, you probably did it on the Apple II.
And it was fun learning about dysentery and drowning in rivers in the 3rd grade.
Can you imagine a generation of students completely unaware of the dangers of dysentery?
And all I would play was Oregon Trail and the damn thing.
All right, I'm going to take a piss. I think I can confidently let this play without my commentary, and you'll be adequately entertained.
I never played another game on the Apple II except
There were
Oregon Trail.
there were over 800 games for that system, and yes, I only played Oregon Trail.
If you had an Apple II, the likelihood of you having legit copies of software just sitting in your bin was slim to none.
I think there's a very good possibility that it is true. In fact, I know it's true. It's true.
My grandparents unknowingly were huge criminals in the 80s because they just had pirated software everywhere.
So Apple, thank you for software piracy.
And that, in a nutshell, is why we protest Wall Street.
What are you babbling about?
Continue.
Electronics is changing so rapidly. And with each change in electronics, it brings something new. So this is not a passing fad.
What is a fad is the kind of games that people like to play.
The first video game crash was not 1983/84.
Nope.
It was 1977.
Wow.
Yes.
Tell me more, John.
Well,
the crash of 77 doesn't really get the props it deserves for almost taking down the video game industry.
You still hear the crying in the streets.
The problem with 83 was that you had just a giant glut of really crappy games on the market, whereas in 77, you had a glut of pretty crappy consoles.
So the holiday season, end of 77, what are you gonna buy your kids? You got the Studio 2. You have a ton of Pong systems and clones on the market, but you're about to get beaten down.
Cartridge-based systems just came out with the Fairchild F in 76. Almost everything else was just its own console with its own set of games, and you played those games like however many.
Yeah, they should have. I don't know why they. Clown World Live says this show was always bad. Everyone wanted them to talk about the 90s. Yeah, I mean that was their base. We would have related to it more. It would have been more like, oh yeah, I remember this, I remember that. Like, these are just a bunch of nerds who collect everything there is gaming. And I don't know, like, I don't know why they would start with like the late 70s. I mean, I guess you have to, I don't know. Like, I don't think anyone would have given a fuck if you had started at like 86 when the NES came out. Just start at that year and like, I don't know, go to 96 or 99 or whatever. Like, that would have been way more relatable. Like, I can't relate to any of this shit, honestly.
There were half a dozen, and then that's it.
I mean, I know what they're talking about, but like,
when everybody and their mom is making a Pong clone, eventually the market's going to crash on them. So You know, Mom, why were you making
Pep
Pong
nips.
clones? You contributed to this.
When the entire video game market crashes, that's too much Pong.
So, with the Pong clones just glutting up the markets, people wanted something
Bro,
different.
He's got them crazy eyes, that Pixel Dan guy. He's got crazy eyes. Maybe that's what's so unsettling. Anyone who collects Pong clones definitely has a chode. Yeah, probably so. For sure. Yeah, I agree.
And by the time Christmas of 77 comes along, they are marked down heavily to get them out of the stores.
Coleco actually missed the Christmas season with their new version of the Telstar and stopped that, decided to also go the route of handheld games.
So Coleco at that point pulled out of the console business and went right into handhelds up until ColecoVision.
What you have is really a lot of these more dedicated single handheld systems. I don't think people are ready to buy into consoles yet. And you also got to think, parents are buying these for kids. Color TVs are a fairly new luxury. They don't really want to share the TV.
Yeah, they're not called colored TVs, you fucking racist. They're called African American TVs, bro. Like, Jesus Christ. I know this came out in 2012, which was back in the day, but still, like, show some respect.
The rise of the handheld games, the market started to crash a little bit.
Okay, in 76 you had Coleco, you had Atari, you had Magnavox, APF.
Who cares?
Sears.
Who cares? Who cares?
Walmart.
Who cares?
Microsoft.
Who cares?
Google. Okay,
Pep nips.
I
Who
think I'm wrong
cares?
on a few of those, but you get the point. Too many freaking systems.
Soon after the video game crash in 77, the marketplace started to clear out.
The RCA didn't survive. The Fairchild, Channel F, didn't survive.
There was one Fairchild Channel F, and then another one.
And you can see why people would want to get the cheaper, more portable, and
Pep
probably
nips.
a little bit more innovative by that point game than pay the
Actually, that's not even a shirt. That's just his whole, like, lower torso is one big fucking nipple. That's why he's shirtless, because he can't wear shirts. It's too sensitive for his one big ass Jewish uni nipple. Too sensitive to wear shirts, so he's shirtless, actually, is what you're seeing. A lot of people will say different. It's wrong. Ice Hockey Jedi says, it's Saturday night and I'm watching dweebs with questionable search histories talk about 50 fucking year old consoles. Yeah, see? This is the life you're living. This is the life I'm living. I'm hosting this shit. I wrought this into existence. That's how sad my life is. Best believe if I had a girl on my hip, I'd be doing that tonight. But I'm not, and I don't.
same damn thing over and over from 10 different companies.
The video game crash of 77 pretty much left the marketplace with just handheld electronic games and the new Atari VCS.
The Atari 2600 didn't make money in its first few years out.
The Atari 2600, still fairly new, and unfortunately, there wasn't a lot of arcade games out yet that can be featured on the system, so it didn't really catch on yet.
And at the end of the day, it was Atari that actually came out.
If you do not get a strike, bowl your second ball. If you knock down the remaining pins, you get a spare and hear the spare song. That's why these beat out things like the Atari 2600 and 77.
Because they had songs.
The Atari 2600 has no spare song. The Bolatronic, it's got a spare song.
So by the end of the year, you only had Atari and Magnavox that were willing to tough it out and continue producing consoles until the next crash came along.
That would start changing the world of games forever.
Blow everybody's mind.
And then soon it was 1978.
All right, guys. I don't know. What are we thinking here? Do we want to watch 1978? Do we want to watch another one? Do I go away? Do I get off here? I need to know. I need to know. Tell me, baby girl, 'cause I need to know. I need to know. Oh no, we're going in fucking order, buddy. Because I'm riding this fucking wave for quite a few Fridays. Well, whenever I fucking stream. Yeah, I feel that. Maybe I will skip, and then maybe I'll go back. Well, all right. Well, you're gonna have to give me a minute here. While I download the other one. All right, let's see here. Where do I go? I'm gonna go here, and I'm gonna do this, and this is gonna initiate that, and that's what you guys want, I think. Who the hell is that? What the hell is going on? No. You're going to be forced to watch 1978. Or I don't know. I'm so confused right now, dude. Okay, we can watch 1986 now, I guess. But I'm going to watch the older ones for future streams. I spoil you guys. I spoil you guys. How about some super chats? Give me some fucking money. For all of this free entertainment. 100% sober. That Sprite with tea, it hits. I'm sorry if you're in a region that doesn't got it going on, but man, this is some good shit. Anybody read Jay Leno's Leading with My Chin? Cerebral P coming in. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. God knows Oh, now we got someone saying go in order. That's kind of what my heart's telling me to do. Just go in order. Yeah, fuck it. If you don't like it, then you can leave. I don't care anymore. I don't give a cuff like the F word reversed. Yeah, we're watching 78. We're not skipping. You guys are just gonna have to stick around until next time I stream. I'm not gonna get to the good shit that quick. I can't believe I almost thought about doing that. Gee whiz. Did you guys know that Gee Whiz was short for G Wizard? That'd be kind of a cool rap name. They could be Gee Whiz for short. All right, let's see here. All right, you guys sure you want me to make the Jay Leno thing go away? Because I do like looking at this. It's fascinating to see how big his fucking chode of a chin is. That's actually... Oh, the black backdrop is even better. Adds to it. Yeah, dude, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not saying I'm gay, but, like, I would pop a squat on that dude's chin. I would. I'm just saying. You got one life to live. Why not? That would tear my asshole asunder, that guy. That guy's chin. Jesus. All right, here we go. Yay! Skip the stupid intro.
As video games went global.
Before, video games were only in the United States.
1978 introduced new influences like Invaders from Space and Japan.
That becomes a national phenomenon.
Magnavox tries again.
Available now. Programmed by you.
The world gets a new controller.
I love playing games with a trackball. They give you a really precise amount of control.
Plus, the Pong paddle strikes back. And Simon demands your attention.
Push green, push red.
Sorry.
Push yellow, push blue. Push till you're blue in the face.
So book it to your nearest toy store, Jack, because these are the video game years, and this is 1978.
Well, the autism kicked in, and I'm going to be doing this throughout the show. Did I really just call this stupid live stream a fucking show? Oh my God. Somebody brand me with a cattle prod at this point. I can't believe I just said show off the top of my head. As if this comes anywhere near that. Not the video game. I'm talking about this live stream. I called this live stream as a whole a show. What a fucking phony. Jeez, I've gotten high off of my farts for far too long to call that to call this piece of shit that I'm doing right now, that 128 people for some reason are watching, a fucking show.
We especially like Space Invaders. Zapping those little devils from outer space. It's fun, but personally I think the whole idea of
I like
creatures from
Strats.
outer space is a little far-fetched.
I think they're good guitars. I don't like them as much as Gibson products, personally.
Most influential game of all time, Space Invaders, bar none. There is no contest whatsoever.
Man, I love Space Invaders so much, I even went out and bought a shirt. Look at this.
It's not Space Invaders, it's Galaxian. What's the matter with you?
Japan created something that was going to take the world by storm in Space Invaders.
Before this point, Japan had no influence over the video game industry. I mean, it was Atari and that was it.
Is it a Mexican strat or an American strat?
Before, video games were only in the United States, and after Space Invaders, it was everywhere. It was international.
You have to realize that World War II just ended. Like,
we got the pep nips here. His audio's better this time. It doesn't sound like he's just in a room on his fucking built-in mic on his camera. I mean, there's that, I guess. Korean made Squire from '96. I did not know Korea made Squires. Squires is like I don't know, I guess it's kind of a Strat, I guess. It's not a Fender Stratocaster, it's a Fender Squire Stratocaster. Big difference there, buddy.
Over 3 decades earlier, and Japan was still coming through this economic miracle.
Oh, Japan, you so crazy.
Americans were pretty stuck on thinking stuff from Japan was still kind of crappy.
Japan was at its infancy with, as far as being a chip supplier.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of weird that you see a Japanese company using American-made products.
Why does it sound like that guy has like encephalitis in his vocal cords? I don't even know what encephalitis is, but the word just sounds right to me describing how this guy... Maybe stay home and heal before you like get on a show and start talking. Been around too many cats or some shit.
For his machines.
Doc is like, well, no wonder the circuit failed. It was made in Japan. And then Marty's like, what do you mean, Doc? All the best stuff's made in Japan.
All of a sudden, Taito shows up with...
Let me ask you this. This has nothing to do with this particular show. And by show, I mean this live stream, because clearly the quality on this is very high. Why are so many people from Channel Awesome, or actually former people from Channel Awesome, why are they all trans now, is my question. Why did they all become transgender? I have nothing against it, but I'm just, it's like pound for pound, like people who work for Channel Awesome become trans. It's a curious question.
Space Invaders, and that becomes a national phenomenon.
Space Invaders was developed by one man. He did the programming, he did the art, he even made the hardware.
Taito.
Taito had its first international success. It wasn't super blockbuster, but their first success with Gunfight.
Midway got the license for Space Invaders, and they got a huge hit.
Amazing hit. It was released in arcades in America late 78, and around the middle of the year in Japan.
Midway had their own version.
American
Taito, who
Strat,
released the game
Texas
in Japan,
Specials.
had their own version. And there's, not only was there physical differences, but the Japanese
What the fuck happened to this guy's voice between the first episode we just watched and this one? This guy, what is he like hyper allergic to cats and he was in a room full of cats? I'm going off of personal experiences. The fuck?
version actually had a joystick, whereas the American version had only buttons, which was kind of neat.
The cool backlit with the moon on.
Did he just get done yelling at his 15-year-old weeb girlfriend or something? What's going on with that guy's voice?
On the bottom.
Yeah, some of the versions had that. I like some of the cocktail versions had the the cellophane overlays that
Sure.
gave you the different colors. It was
They used what they could at the time.
Yeah.
I guess it's considered an early shooter, but your guy is a tank.
It's a tank. It's a cannon of some sort.
It's like you're a tank, but fighting aliens.
Yeah, you're not even a spaceship. You're behind a little bunker.
It's a game that has no ending. It keeps going. Waves and waves of more attack. It gets harder and harder. It's one of those games that when you first play, almost anyone can get past the first level.
I like how Pat is like the daddy of this show and his audio is crap. Where's the lavalier mic here? Did they only have like 2 that they like mailed away to other people to use in their green screen room, whatever? And they had to share it or something? This is your show, Pat. Why aren't you laved up, man? I fucking hate room sounding audio, especially if you're using green screen. It's like, tell me you're unprofessional without telling me.
But second, third, fourth, it gets tough.
You're like at the bottom and you got like these little bases like above you, just a little bit above you, and you gotta hide behind them.
You're shooting a little
And guy with like the Darth Vader's vagina voice is the most laved up. He's the most mic'd guy, and he's got the worst voice. I'm just picking on shit that has nothing to do with the content of this show, but that's kind of what I do. I'm very good at complaining.
Pellets at the Space Invaders.
Pellets at aliens doing line dancing.
There is a defined line that you have to defend. Yes. It's Earth. If you lose, no one will ever know what a chocolate malt tastes like, ever.
And then you got this fucking weird, like G4-esque techno music in the background. It's like on today on this episode of G4 Icons, we're gonna talk about why fucking Halo was developed. Like they're playing it, and then the audio quality is like just from talking head to talking head, not consistent. It's throwing me off my game. Maybe I got the tism. Maybe I'm tisming out right now. Spurging out, is that a thing? I don't know.
Again, you screwed up. You're the last line of defense. And
well, those and those green blobby shields that really just got in your way.
Amount of enemies they had on the screen took up so much processing power for the game that as you destroy the enemies, obviously, if you've ever played the game, you realize the enemies speed up as you destroy more of them.
It really makes your heart start beating. The beads of sweat, kind of gather on your forehead and whatnot, and it's very, very traumatizing.
That's a bug, not a feature, because the processor can handle things faster as more and more enemies are destroyed.
There is such an impending sense of dread when you play Space Invaders, and I am terribly stressed at all times.
Pat, what are you doing, dude? Besides being creepy as fuck, dude. Ian, this scene right here, Ian looks like a 46-year-old woman who's just trying to check out at the grocery store. And then you got this fucking pervert who's like making her uncomfortable as she's trying to check out. Like, I don't even know you, dude. Stop like doing this doot in my ear. I'm just trying to buy some bananas and some ground beef. Like, why? Leave me alone. That's what's going on. How these motherfuckers have a podcast that has gone on this long kind of blows my mind a little bit, just watching this alone.
I think what really does it is
He's still doing it. He's still doing the sound.
The sound in Space Invaders was panic attack inducing.
Early version of the two-step.
Yeah. It's like Achy Breaky Heart, except it's except the Space Invaders, they're invading.
Yes.
Oh, they have grown old together.
Bum, 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 bum.
Oh, there's Metal Jesus and Drunken Master Paul. Which, by the way, his friend Drunken Master Paul gives me, he gives me vibes of a non-consensual nature. That's all I'm going to say. I kind of just said everything by saying that, but whatever the fuck. Oh, God. Metal Jesus looks so bad without a beard. He has no chin. I'm not trying to be all fucking early days iDubbbz right now, but where's the chin? Metal Jesus. He's got that same affliction that fucking George Lucas got. George Lucas got. I've been living in the hood too long. George Lucas has.
And then you get locked into a zone and you're shooting, and then that UFO sound.
Jesus.
You're like, oh my god.
What was that he just did, bro? Can somebody clip that and make that like just either a sound clip or a GIF?
And then you get bonus points if you hit it.
Right. Space Invaders was kind of a pioneer for the arcade because this was the game that introduced the high score.
Basically what it was, it started bragging rights in games.
Space Invaders brought that challenge, like, I've got to beat his high score. I've got to beat his high score.
Competition. Dudes are competitive. That's it, period. You know, there was lines wrapped around the block. You know, next person throws his quarter up.
It made people come back to play the game.
And now when I get my high score and it's always better than yours, I have Space Invaders to thank.
And so you want to play against your friends or anyone you know.
Dude, Ian literally looks like Pat's twink boyfriend in this. Like, for real. And what's up with... I don't know. All right, I'm gonna stop commenting on people's physical appearance. Not everybody can be as beautiful as me, I understand.
Locally and go for the high scores.
I'm better than you at everything, including arts and crafts, and you know it.
So you're pumping quarters in. So that's one of the reasons why in Japan there was actually a coin shortage.
Reportedly, there is a shortage of 100 yen coins, which is what the machines took.
And Japan just ran out of them. Like, how does that even happen?
The Japanese mint had to manufacture extra 100 yen coins.
Here's an idea. Tokens.
Supposedly the same kind of thing happened after the game was released in America with quarters, but you know, some of this stuff back in the dark ages of the 70s, you could never like confirm.
Space Invaders was such a phenomenon that some stores in Japan got rid of their stock of vegetables and whatever else they were selling to turn their stores into Space Invaders stores. That'd be like Hallmark throwing out all their cards to make their store like a Angry Birds store.
Arcades were throwing, game rooms were throwing pachinko machines out to make room for Space Invaders.
Even a lot of the companies that we know nowadays make video games, like Nintendo and Taito, well, they were producing pachinko machines.
Or as we call it in America on The Price is Right, Plinko.
What's pachinko, you ask?
Now, pachinko is like a vertical pinball game where you basically you flick a metal ball, which ding, 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 and falls down through a bunch of shit.
Kind of a simple game, actually. You have these small little silver marbles. You basically just flip the little flipper, the marbles go down, and if you land in here, you win more marbles. It's like gambling, but not with money.
Why talk about any of this? Like, any of this? Why are you talking about any of it? Who cares? Nope, like, nobody was alive. None of you guys were alive to play these games. You just... Look at that face. Look at that cocky face he's got going on. Like, yeah, I know a lot about this stuff. Like, why would you start in 1977? Any of you guys. These, content creators who have way more followers and went on to do something with their lives, unlike me. Why would you talk about this old bullshit that nobody cares about? Why wouldn't you start at, 85, okay, before NES came out? Just start there and go into, the 90s. Why would you start so fucking early? Stupid concept. Stupid show. By the way, I have a strong suspicion that Sailor Goon, who has no subs or anything on their no nothing. I believe you're a sock account. That's a troll. That's fine. And I want you to know that I know, and I don't give a fuck. I really don't care. So fine, welcome.
But you could win basically tokens that you could exchange for things that you could sell for money.
I'll never replace you for Space Invaders.
A lot of people credit the dominance of the Atari 2600 to Space Invaders when it was released on the console in 1980.
Parents hook it up to the TV.
Those are supposed to be the Space Invaders you get with your missiles.
Wow!
That's it, Uncle Frank. You saved our planet.
Yeah, this time.
The first home console game you had to have because it was the first arcade hit you had to play.
And so there was a ton of different options.
Yeah, I think episode 1 of the entire 70s, that would have been the way to go. 100%. I think they should have done that. And not harp on, like, you know, Space Invaders for, like, what, almost 10 minutes now?
So, there was one where you basically can have it where your shields like wiggle back and forth.
Right, wiggle, 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 yeah.
Yeah, the aliens fire would wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. There's a lot of wiggle, wiggle, wiggle in this.
There was a lot of wiggle, wiggle, wiggle in 1978.
Oh yeah, there was.
It gave Atari a pretty good advantage because if you had a choice between other systems like the Odyssey 2 or the APF, you had to go for the Atari. You had to get Space Invaders. You had to do it.
The greatest scourge caused by Space Invaders wasn't the Japanese shop owners'
Dude, shut the fuck up about Space Invaders. Move on to something else. Holy shit, I am fast forwarding right now. My God, I'm so... What the fuck? Yeah, it was I don't know. You remember buying those games on PC? It was like it was a CD or whatever you want to call it. CDR. And it had it like I remember back in the day from like CompUSA, if you remember that store. You had Pac-Man. Oh, what was that? Battle Tanks? Oh, that was a good game. Battle Tanks was a good game. Asteroids, Dig Dug, and like some kind of vertical shooter of some, you know, there's like a million different offshoots of it. And it was like one CD and it had like 4 or 5 games. Actually, I have a Dreamcast game that had those same, it's like, and I don't know, I don't think they sold it at full price, but like, why are they still repackaging this shit? I guess because they're classic games, but like, oh my God. It's like, yes, we've played so many iterations of these old fucking games from like the 70s. Why are you talking about them so much? It's boring.
Success. I mean, it stuck around for a few more years and had some name changes.
And if you're still hungry for excitement, how about the Munchie game? Astro Arcade, the home entertainment sensation that's a personal computer too.
It's the professional system. Right. Well, until we change the name to Astrocade, which makes no sense a few years later.
I mean, they changed the name like 4 times. Game Strategy, you want to know about it. He probably has every version.
So this is the home library computer, the Valley Home Library Computer. This is only available, this version was only available through mail order and only sold in New York City area.
When I was a kid, anytime I did a mail order for something, it ended up being crap. Amazing Live Sea Monkey's my foot.
But by 1978, what they decided to do was they decided to rename it the Valley Professional Arcade and market it in stores. And
that is some shit audio. Right? You know what? This show could be called Various Ways of Recording Bad Audio or like not consistent audio. I think that could be a good name for this show. Because like this, oh my God, this guy's audio is like fucking garbage right now. It's so easy to not fuck up audio. I don't understand.
Retail stores.
But the only stores you could buy it in were computer stores. Because again, they didn't know what you needed to do as a retail company.
But they were missing out on the most important market. Kids. There's no force greater than kids screaming in the middle of a department store, I want it!
I mean, why would little junior son of a bitch be in a computer store?
The hardware on this thing was actually pretty impressive.
Literally the best home system on the market.
Yeah, it was better than the VCS, which came out the year before.
Dude, your voice sounds like Darth Vader's vagina right now. Why are you on here, bro? It's throwing me off.
It was top of the line when it came out.
Valley supported 4 players up to 4. It came with 2 controllers only, but you can buy an extra 2
4-player action in the late 70s? That was unheard of.
The Bally Astrocade has some of the best controllers for any vintage system out there.
All right, let's just try to do the math here. Let's say, like, just being generous, 2012. Let's say these guys are 30. Okay, let's go back. 2002, they'd be 20. 1992, they'd be 10. 1982, they'd be 0. Meaning that once they even got to an age, let's say 6 to be generous. So now you're in 1988. You're going to be playing the Nintendo. You're not going to be playing these 70s pieces of shit. You'd have, for this to even be viable in 2012, when this was filmed, assuming they were 30, they might have been younger. And if they're younger, that proves my point even more, how irrelevant any of this shit would be to their lives. But they're talking about it like they gathered it around the TV and they all played this shit. You didn't play it. You just looked up shit about it on the internet or read a book. Doubt they read a book. Probably looked it up on the internet. Or they collected it and they have these consoles. Obviously, they love showing off all the consoles they own, by the way. They love doing that on the show. It's like, oh, look at this. I own it. Look at it. Which, I mean, I guess makes sense, but I think a secondary objective there is to show how much, look at my game collection, bro. I'm surprised Metal Jesus didn't pull some shit out of his ass for this. He might. There's more episodes that he's featured on. Jason. This is his real name. Jason, forget his last name, whatever. He doesn't really like people mentioning him by his actual name. He likes people. I wonder if when he has sex with his wife, he's one of the few that has a wife here. I wonder if he makes her call him Metal Jesus when they fuck. You know what I mean? That's another bridge I just burned. With Metal Jesus Rocks. Now he will never come on one of my live streams. Does he... I'm going to give you the Metal Jesus right now. Yeah. Oh, Metal Jesus. Oh, Metal Jesus Rocks. Metal Jesus Rocks. You know what I'm saying? I wonder if they do that. They may not. This is for entertainment purposes only, by the way. Metal Jesus' lawyers.
Here's the Bally Astrocade controller. As you can see, it almost looks like a handgun handle. This is your trigger button right here, your action button. And then your left hand, this is the knob up top. You can turn around and twist. You actually move it around like a directional pad. Really advanced for a system that came out in the late 70s.
When you listen to the Bally machine, it actually sounds like sound effects that you would hear in an arcade.
It had the best colors, the best sound. It had arcade sound.
When you're comparing this to arcade ports that were on the VCS at the time, it's steps above. Yeah.
And it even came with a version of BASIC. It was based off of Tiny Basic.
Pepperoni Nipples sounds much better in this audio-wise. I mean, he still looks creepy, but, I mean, his audio is better. I mean, there's that. There's that.
It's still within the realm where computers and video game systems are blurred, so they're trying to put, productivity applications on certain things, thinking that, when the kid's done playing the game, maybe dad can use it to balance the ledger.
It was marketed as more than just a kid's toy.
Well, on the front of the console, there were some numbers and keys.
And in order to program anything in like the alphanumerics or the...
Dude, Pat strikes me, because I'm reading this comment. Does Pat drive around San Diego looking for men or women? Pat's totally a dude who's on Tinder. And I'm not, some of us fellas here in the chat might be on Tinder. But I know for a fact in the description of his Tinder profile, it says, famous content creator, famous online influencer. It says something about it. It's got to. It's got to also say something about his huge NES collection. What else would it say? Intermittent fasting. I don't know. You could really like go at it with what Pat would put in his Tinder profile, but I know he's on it. And he's looking for that cosplay girl of his dreams at all those conventions that he goes to make his life complete.
Commands. Each key had 4 possible commands, and you had to hit a certain shift. There were like 3 shift buttons that were colored.
It was more expensive. It was $100 more expensive than the Atari VCS or even the Odyssey 2. It was a $300 system in.
Dude, this backing music sucks. This is like, I feel like I'm a baby in a crib right now. I don't know how that makes sense, but this is what this music makes me feel like I'm like a child in like a crib right now. This fucking backing music they got going on.
1978.
$270, I think I saw once in an old Montgomery Ward catalog, which inflation adjusted is $960.
Is what he would say.
When the
not
Sega
me.
CD came out, it was $300, and that was prohibitively expensive. And that was like 20 years later.
That's why they probably call it professional system. They want to differentiate from the Atari and say this is like the big one.
Or this music could be a jingle for like a Walgreens commercial. Here at Walgreens, you can pick up your prescriptions at your convenience by using our mobile app. We're here for your health, or whatever the fuck they say.
The Bally Professional Arcade was essentially the Neo Geo of the time.
Initially, when Bally released the home library computer, they had envisioned it not to only be a home computer system for the home market, but they were going to have standout.
Listen to all that white noise. I feel like I'm watching Kick-Assia right now by Doug Walker.
Arcade machines as well, with the Astrocade or home library computer running the arcade.
There wasn't a huge amount of games in the Bally library. There's only a few dozen, so that also was not good for it. And there wasn't a lot of ports. There was a Wizard of War port, however. That was pretty good. Yes. It sounded very authentic to the arcade. Not exactly.
I'm just going to take this moment right now to promote my my Discord. I definitely need more problematic, creepy weirdos that annoy me. So I'm going to just post this here in the chat. You can join that if you want. Please be creepy, annoying, or trolling. For the love of God, that's what I want and need. I'm also going to promote my Patreon for those of you who piss and moan that I don't talk about music stuff anymore or as much as you would like me to. That's pretty much all I talk about. Can this fucking mouse work for 2 motherfucking seconds? I'm posting my Patreon. Yeah, I basically just do album reviews. Oh, actually, I reviewed the movie Go, that 1999 movie, Go. I would say starring, but there's not really a whole lot of well-known actors in that movie. Tom Cruise's ex-bitch, what's her name? The sane one who quit Scientology. Jay Moore, the comedian who ripped off a joke from Bert Kreischer, who, if there's any celebrity I could punch in the face, it would be Bert Kreischer. And Jay Moore stole a joke from him. This is how you get kicked out of a club, Jay Moore's. That was a Bert Kreischer joke, and Jay stole it, because I guess Bert opened up for him. Anyway, that's... Yeah, trolls can join the Patreon. There's already 1 or 2 in there, I think. So go for it. I don't give a fuck, dude. At this point.
Pretty close for, 78.
If you wanted to replicate the arcade experience at home, even though there were only about 50 games that eventually came out for the thing, the Bally Professional Arcade was the way to go.
I don't have a huge amount of experience with it, but I respect the Bally Professional / Astrocade.
I like
And
Go.
now, Pat Contri presents the pop culture of 1978 that inspired gaming.
Pat here with the 1978 pop culture.
Okay, no, I do have to pause for this. I'm sorry I keep pausing. Go does not hold a candle to Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction's a classic movie of any decade. So it does not hold a candle. But if you do like 90s movies, especially late 90s movies, which I love 90s movies, that's like my favorite decade for movies, I would give it a watch. I wouldn't watch it a second time, but I'd give it an initial watch. Especially if you're into that vibe.
Moments that inspired video games.
This year, Superman brings you the gift of flight.
Superman, the movie, starring Christopher Reeve. A near-perfect superhero movie, with the exception of that creepy "Can you read my mind" scene with Margot Kidder. Ugh.
And an animated Star Wars story.
Yes, it did do that. Go was kind of like an anthology of sorts. You are correct, sir.
Star Wars Holiday Special. Trippy Jefferson Airplane music video. Wookiees yelling at each other for a half hour. B. Arthur? But we got a glimpse of Boba Fett for the first time.
Come back soon. I'll be waiting.
And now, when David Banner grows angry or outraged, a startling metamorphosis occurs.
The Incredible Hulk TV show. See Bill Bixby get his ass kicked for almost an hour before he hulks up and throws 2x4s at bad guys.
Dude, honestly, I streamed the I Love the 80s. Some of you may have been here for this when I did that. I streamed several episodes of that show on here, on my channel. The jokes were so corny and so bad. Now, granted, the show is almost a 20-year-old show. So, of course, millennial coming of age, I should say, because we were all teenagers back then. It did not hold up. I don't even think I felt like it held up back in the day. I was like, oh, God, can they please stop trying to make jokes and just, talk about the nostalgic shit? One thing I will give to this show is that they don't try to make as many jokes. Like, there's not constantly some talking head joke, and they were all bad. They were so not funny. So I will give this show that. They do not try to make a lot of jokes on this show, which I do like. This show's on Tubi, by the way, and it was on Amazon Prime, I think, for a while. Jesus Christ. I don't know. I mean, it is kind of a show, I guess, with really bad audio.
Battlestar Galactica. Sure, it was mostly a Star Wars ripoff, but it was fun, and there wasn't any B. Arthur. And that was the pop culture of 1978 that inspired video games.
Oh,
Remember,
yeah, that
there's other
Tubi
things in the
Prime
world
money.
Besides video games, they're just less important.
Odyssey, video game fun.
All right,
computer
shot time.
keyboard challenge.
2:47 on the
entrance to an
East
alternate
Coast.
world
Oh,
of fire-breathing dragons, hard-hitting sluggers, arcade wizards. More than 40 games in all. Odyssey, the excitement of a game, the mind of a computer. All for the price of an ordinary video game. Odyssey.
Not only does Pat wipe with the RBI baseball stickers that he's always trying to fucking shill on his podcast, but he sends them out, the ones that he wiped with. So you get some Pat stink. You know how he likes to put Pat in front of everything? Oh, it's Pat math. Pat this, Pat that. It's Pat stink. That's not any kind of stink you want to deal with. Trust me. I bought a few of them.
Magnavox is back.
Pat wipes back to front.
So Magnavox
yeah, probably.
introduces the Odyssey
Gets his
2.
nuts and balls all
Even though
shitty.
there were like
24 other Odysseys.
50 Odysseys.
7,000 Odyssey Pong systems in the 70s.
I don't know, it probably actually would have been confusing even more if they just called it the Odyssey 25.
They probably just wanted to change their image after their poor early marketing that suggested that their system would only work on a Magnavox brand television. It's a cover-up.
I think Pat stopped eating Magic Spoon the moment they stopped sponsoring him. You know, I actually bought, I can't believe I'm admitting this. This is probably like the most embarrassing thing I'm going to say this entire stream. I actually fucking bought a sample box of Magic Spoon because of his That's the only time I've ever done that, dude. I've never bought a sponsored thing that anyone else has sponsored ever, but for some reason in my delusion, I bought Magic Spoon. And then for another reason, I never ate any of it, and I just gave them all to my friend. Jeez, what a fucking retarded person. It's a word that, I don't know the word. It's like you restart a computer. It rhymes with uncharted, well regarded. I don't know. That was me. I don't know why I did that. That's a true story, by the way. I did that. And it's embarrassing. I can't believe I'm saying this to all of you right now. I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I bought that shit. Like, what the fuck? I can't even make eye contact with you guys right now. I'm like humiliated. This is some humiliation fetish going on. I'm rock hard right now, which is weird. Anyway, let's keep the train a chugling, shan't we?
Conspiracy.
So the Odyssey
Yeah,
2,
I heard it was awful
at first
too.
you
I
wouldn't
wouldn't
know
know
where
because
that
I never
came
actually
from.
ate it.
Remember
I just
that
bought
little
it.
system that came out in 72?
Fucking idiot.
Which was when the original Odyssey came out, the first video game console.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Odyssey 1.
And Ralph Baer, the father of home video games.
But what came out in 1978 was not the Odyssey 1. It was the Odyssey 2.
What accent was that? Like, what was he doing just then? Was he trying to do like a foreign accent, or was he just drunk, or... I think I'm turning Japanese. I think I'm turning Japanese. I really think so.
The Odyssey 2.
Magnavox is sitting at home. They're like, what the hell, Atari VCS?
Yeah,
We're
that
the
was
guys
pretty
that came
cringy
up
what he
with
just
this.
did. That was
We
pretty
had the
embarrassing.
Odyssey from,
That was more embarrassing than me admitting that I bought Magic Spoon from listening to the CU podcast.
5 years ago, 6 years ago. We're getting back into this.
The Odyssey 2 was priced about the same as the VCS, but it had a slight advantage over it. There was an educational aspect to
Pat
the
eats
Odyssey
corn the
2
long way.
that
I
parents
like
liked.
that.
You know, versus the Atari 2600, which was so obviously just games.
There's even the computer intro cartridge, which teaches you how to talk in a low-level way, like very simply in assembly.
I can teach my kids, and they'll be stupid less, or stupid less stupider, and
God, I keep thinking about that awful, tasteless joke I made earlier, but then he keeps doing things that like make me. Anyway, I'm not gonna go there. If you know, you know.
Apparently, did not have an Odyssey 2.
So you have one console that's only games, or one that's games and educational.
Given the option, Atari, Magnavox, and went with the Odyssey.
Are we a game?
Fucking Boku Bennington.
The console itself looks like a
Man,
computer.
you're an OG. You're an OG watcher, and you like how my voice just cracked because I'm like hitting my like second puberty. Fucking Chester Bennington's son. What an embarrassment that little waste of a cum stain is.
It had the membrane keyboard so you could actually type in.
It's got a really cool 70s sci-fi look.
And it was like a pressure-sensitive membrane keyboard so that kids couldn't destroy it.
You can't break anything off, and if you get sticky fingers or chip dust on there, you can actually, instead of using compressed air, you can just wipe this off.
Yeah, it's pressure sensitive. It's brilliant.
You can spill juice on here and it'll probably be okay.
I throw juice on it all the time.
Young kids wouldn't break out the keys.
I find these infinitely fascinating. And it's got a big, shiny red button.
And the controllers themselves were kind of like an Atari 2600 joystick where you had your stick and your primary button.
Action button. It says action.
Action.
They weren't always hardwired in, but in later models they were. But it had two built in.
It doesn't perfectly center, but it does have this little kind of restrictor plate.
Dude, that guy is fucking drunk. As someone who's drunk right now, I can tell you that guy's fucking drunk. What is this guy's deal? This guy's just fucking, I don't know. Just coming in there, shooting from the hip, just being like, I'm drunk. I don't give a, What was RetroWare TV doing back in the day? Are they even a thing?
Folded into
I think they are. Didn't they publish some of the AVGN video games, RetroWare? No, I know they did. I feel like Joe Biden right now, dude. Maybe okay, I'm going to make a Joe Biden cocktail where like you drink enough to where you get confused and disoriented, and you kind of feel like Joe Biden must feel every day of his life. And this is not a political thing, by the way. I'm just saying that guy was funny. He was funny. His flubs were funny as fuck. That dude was so senile. What the fuck? My fucking 90-something 3-year-old great-grandfather who was still alive when I was like 8. Well, could have done a better job, I think. Anyway.
The map to the plastic. So you can only, you couldn't do 360 degrees of...
Oh my God, that guy's he's slurring his speech. I'm not even slurring my speech yet. Give it time. What the fuck, dude? Dude, you're not a rock star. This is just some stupid YouTube show. Like, It doesn't warrant you showing up drunk.
Of contact on this thing.
When you flip it over and you look at it, you can actually open this up like a mouse and clean out the entire joystick and do maintenance on it yourself. Sony won't even let you change the recharge.
Sorry, I keep pausing. I know this is annoying. Ian, he's got the hood on again. I specifically remember in the last episode we just saw he was wearing a black hoodie. And he had the hood over. Now he's wearing a gray hoodie. So this isn't even like we got to knock out like several episodes in one go. No, he made the choice to put the hood over his head each time. No matter what hoodie I am wearing, which I will always be wearing one because I am the consummate hipster douchebag, you best believe that hoodie is over my head constantly. Like, yeah, dude, I get it. You were cool as fuck. Like, you were probably too cool for all of this. Like, take the fucking hood off. You look like such a douche.
Rechargeable battery on a PS3 controller.
They had come out with the voice module, which was really, really fun. Like those typical, when you see 80s stuff now, or 70s stuff even, where they're doing voice emulation, it's always like this.
First console to have voice synthesis.
Back then, when a game talked to you, you could pretty much get rid of your friends.
And synthesis is huge because it's the first step to actual music in games.
So you had these cartridges that were on little handles, so they tried to make that look different.
Ergonomic carts with handles. They didn't want us to get metacarpal.
At the time, Atari still didn't have the big arcade games available.
They were doing a lot of different things to get, try to capture some part of the market. It worked.
The Magnavox Odyssey 2 was a big competitor.
People did buy the Odyssey 2. Not as much as the 2600, but there was...
What is this background royalty-free YouTube jingle? Is this some Spanish guitar now? Like, now we're doing some Spanish fucking passionate lover Ricky Martin shit in the background? I feel like that sentence that I just said is something that Tommy was... why are we doing some kind of Spanish Ricky Martin lover thing right now? Why are we playing this kind of music? It sounds stupid.
A hardcore following.
It sold 2 million units, which is respectable, but not stripper and jumpsuit worthy numbers.
Magnavox introduced to the home market not only educational games with the keyboard, but also logic games, puzzle games, and sports games. They were the first home console to have actual sports titles. Thanks a lot, Odyssey.
You're welcome, Madden fans.
That's why Atari later on decided to do.
I have a big problem with the guy to the right here. I don't know why. I got a big problem with this guy. Why does everyone keep saying Big Ryan fan? I don't get it. Well, just never forget this, by the way.
More sports games, more learning games.
All right, I just made a new rule for myself. Anytime this dildo talks, I'm putting up Jay Leno's face from his 1996 autobiography, Leading with My Chin.
For their market as well.
And probably the most infamous, but still a good game on the IC2, Casey Munchkin.
Casey Munchkin, that's all I gotta say is Casey Munchkin.
It's the killer app for the Odyssey 2.
The killer app.
And when you're hungry to step up the challenge, punch. Odyssey's computer keyboard lets you program a myriad of mazes all your own. Nobody else's maze game does that. Casey Munchkin available.
Dude, even if Big Ryan from Screenwave became trans, it pales in comparison to the amount of transness that flows through the waters of Channel Awesome. You work there, you drink the waters, you will become trans. Why did I sound like Christopher Walken just then? You will become trans. It's fine if you want to do that, but it's going to happen to you. That's probably the best Christopher Walken I've ever tried to do. That's a hard impression, by the way.
Now, programmed by you.
Casey Munchkin is essentially a Pac-Man clone, and Atari had sued Magnavox because it was so similar.
But there were some good games in there. Pickaxe Pete.
A delightful Donkey Kong-esque game where you mine for gold until you succumb to the Black Lung.
You had Power Lords based on that show, the old show. Quest for the Rings, which incorporated using a layout over the keyboard.
I really like these Master Strategy video games or the Odyssey 2. There's several of them out there. These are 2 of them. You get Quest for the Rings and Conquest of the World. It basically has a map and it's a board game, but you have to use Odyssey 2 in order to play it as well.
Basically a board game and
Whoa!
video game
Audio,
hybrid.
audio way different, way loud all of a sudden. We went from guy using onboard microphone on his DSLR to actual mic'd guy. Way louder, okay.
So you would put this overlay on the keyboard, and then you had a game board, and you had pieces. They had actual metal pieces inside of there. And that was kind of cool because you would move around the board, and then when you got to a certain point, you would have to play the video game to see how that resolved.
And you had some other cool ones. You had, well, they had their own Space Invaders quote, Alien Invaders.
Kino Casino's covering Channel Awesome. Jesus Christ. What are they just finding out about Doug Walker's shitty movies? I don't know. He's doing shit by the numbers these days. He's just doing Nostalgia Critic, and that's pretty much it.
Plus, and what? Invaders from hyperspace.
It's got this like rainbow text where each line is a slightly different color than the last, and it makes it really trippy because it's not just a journey while you're reading this, but it's an odyssey.
It took over the world. President of the United States for a few years there was the Odyssey 2.
I mean, this is the 70s. You can't make rainbow font like that easily. I mean, not everyone has Photoshop or Word.
No. Hence, the Odyssey 2.
Well done, player. Uh-oh.
Power up. The introduction of Atari Football, Taito Soccer, but the controller used on the arcade cabinet.
Oh, the trackball. Who doesn't love the trackball?
The trackball. Woo! Don't we all love the trackball?
Trackball came out in 1978 and began my love-hate relationship with the video game Missile Command. I hate that game.
I love trackballs. I love playing games with a trackball. They give you a really precise amount of control.
I mean, I would understand why Kino Casino is milking quartering, because like he did take down their clip channel. So I could imagine there's some vendetta there of sorts. Rich, Review Tech USA, much like me right now, he was doing some random stream at 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning, East Coast. And I was drunk, surprise, surprise. And I started like talking to him and shit. And like, this dude would like only read my comments. I don't know if because he already knew I made videos about him or whatever the fuck. I don't know. I have a chance to have Rich on one of my live streams. Do you guys think it's a good idea? I don't fucking know. I don't know if he's too hot. Is he too hot? He's too hot to touch right now, I think. He's made a lot of poor decisions. Now I don't know if I want to talk to Rich. But at a time I thought I might have. Not sure now. Hell yeah, okay, I don't know about that.
How fast you go, how slow you go, and it was really innovative for the time.
I don't like them, honestly. I think they're kind of gimmicky and stupid.
Basically a pool cue ball that sticks out of the top of the control panel. You gotta slap it around to control the game.
This is a man who does not want a single state solution. That I don't even want to get involved with that. I don't know shit about it. I just made a comment. Whatever. Don't read into it. I don't know. Not well researched. Just said something. That's all that was.
It's always messed up. It's never right. It's like it's either stuck or sticky, or someone's broken it by just
try to get the dang thing going fast.
Yeah, I'm sure that's how most of them probably broke. The knuckleheads like you.
Knuckleheads like me going.
Yeah.
Oh, stop that momentum. Good.
Dude, this episode is literally cycling between like 3 or 4 like YouTubers. Holy shit. They were sparse on people for this one. Bimmy Rolf is on later episodes, which I'm going to ride this series out. It's very YouTube friendly. It's not owned by a mega corporation, so Josh doesn't have to worry about copyright strikes. So yeah, but Bimmy Rolfe is definitely in the later ones, and I'm sure his commentary is gonna be like, yeah, I remember Bubble Bobble. It was crazy, yeah. That dude's not on a script. I don't know what goes on. His brain breaks or something. I don't fucking know.
If you roll your hand too far to the side where it connects with the panel, you're gonna pinch the hell out of your fingers.
You don't get blisters on your thumbs anymore. You get them all over your freaking hand.
I remember coming home from the arcade with blisters and purple and black, and those were the days.
And that's why all video game consoles have controllers now that look like this.
I used to play the trackball with my tongue.
Is that what's wrong with you?
I'm like, oh, I gotta go down. And
well, it was innovative.
Yeah.
But Atari football is X's and O's on one side. You pick your play, and I do believe you move one of your players with the trackball.
Other than Space Invaders in 1978, it was Atari football that was the big game in the arcade.
This is really the first arcade football game, especially when football season came around. It was very popular, so people pumping quarters in, and it's multiplayer.
It's the first realistic sports game, in my opinion.
But the funny thing was, as soon as football season was over and people stopped watching it because of that, they also stopped caring about the football video game.
It was the Madden of 1978. It's like, it's a really big deal, and you're gonna drop 60 bucks on it, and then later it's gonna cost $3 at GameStop.
Yes. The game kind of died, and Space Invaders kept going.
Luckily, sports fans had the Winter Olympics to fall back on. I'm just kidding.
When they were developing it, they had the whole football field, and so the characters were really small. So what they had to do was they started developing scrolling technology.
The first was in '77 called Superbug, but the technology was originally developed for the Atari football back in, I think, like '73.
It wasn't until 4 years later that Atari football was finally released with the scrolling.
In Atari's football, you didn't pay for lives. You paid for 90 seconds of game time.
You actually just paid for extra time. You got another...
God, the audio consistency on this just blows my mind how bad it is. Like, the fuck? I mean, wow, look at that dude's fucking weird eye. Pixel Dan, is that his name? The guy still played with, like, toys when he was, like, in his, like, mid-30s or whatever. Geez, that is a fucking crazy eyeball right there. Yeah, that guy's voice, man. He should have stayed home.
90 seconds of gameplay.
Kind of like Nintendo's Play Choice 10 or the early demo games at Sears. It's like a pixelated peep show.
You're now faced with this issue playing games where it doesn't matter necessarily how good you are to continue. It's time no matter what.
Dude, oh man, hold on. Dude, if that scene didn't look like that was Pat's girlfriend. See, I hate like going back in OBS, it doesn't like reverse in like the way a normal thing would, where it's like second by second. It's like chunks of 10 seconds. It's so annoying.
Actually just paid for extra time. You got another 90 seconds of gameplay.
Kind of like Nintendo's Play Choice 10 or the early demo games at Sears. It's like a pixelated peep show.
You're now...
Bro, dude, look how Ian's looking to Pat for guidance. That's a cute couple right there, quite frankly. Ian's like a 46-year-old woman, and that's her boyfriend, is what that looks like. Ian's like this gaunt librarian woman who's cold all the time. We all know those people. And she's looking towards her man to take charge. That's what that's what we're looking at right here.
Faced with this issue playing games where
look at her. She's looking, and look how mighty Pat looks here. You know, if they had kids, that kid would take all of Pat's features, would get 0 from Ian.
It doesn't matter necessarily how good you are to continue. It's time no matter what.
90 seconds of playtime with just 1 quarter? That's just ridiculous. I mean, what can you do in 90 seconds?
I can't even jump in 90 seconds. Yeah, maybe I could.
What a block tease.
I remember as a kid playing Centipede with the trackball, and I hate the trackball.
I love the trackball. This is where we differ here.
You had great controls for Centipede, Millipede, and my personal favorite trackball game, Missile Command. Trackball! Yay!
Marble Madness, which was a perfect fit for a trackball. You were a marble ball, and obviously you just move the trackball like you would a normal marble ball.
But there are a few games where it's kind of fun.
Around the 2000s was The Grid, which had a joystick. And
I don't want to see McLovin, first of all, with his glasses off, with this like raspy, scratchy fucking voice. So that's why I'm throwing Jay Leno's face up there from his 1996 autobiography, Leading with My Chin.
Trackball for shooting.
Now, if you're playing soccer,
Sullied by Golden Tee, which is in every bar.
Yeah.
That and like Buck Hunter.
Thank you, Atari. Trackball!
Trackball sucks. Don't ever use a trackball.
Much appreciation to Atari and their Atari football for inventing the trackball.
And I do not salute you. Good day.
Next level. Rue presents the gaming innovations of 1978.
Oh, hello. This is Rue.
So what was told to me earlier in the stream, this guy got convicted of spying on women when they went to the bathroom. He had like hidden cameras. That was told to me. I have a theory that he has like large pepperoni nipples. That's all I said. Pep Nips. That's his name. Very Jewish. And that's all I have to say about this guy.
For the video game innovations of 1978. What new technology graced the face of video gaming and changed it forever? We have Speed Freak, the first driving video game that had a first-person POV, and some pretty cool vector graphics too. We had Frogs, the first game with a jumping character. And we had the first MUD, or multi-user dungeon, which was created by Roy Trubshaw at the University of Essex in the UK.
Alex, cut it out.
This is basically the first way that multiple people could network in and play the same game happening at the same time, and was the precursor to massively multiplayer online games. That does it for the innovations of 1978. I'll see you next year, and don't forget, it's not just nostalgia, it's science.
Ew, gross.
Power up. Did you try Breakout with a moving wall? Did you try Breakout with an extra ball? It's what fun's all about. It's Super Breakout.
Super Breakout is actually on a microprocessor. Now this is cool for a couple of reasons. One,
take
it's
your fucking hood off, dude. You're not
Super
cool.
Breakout just like you would have played in the arcades in '78. But two, it gave them the ability to do more with it.
Like Breakout 1. Except what, a few more game modes?
You're not just breaking bricks anymore with Super Breakout.
I mean, they added some more options. That was nice. It's still playing Pong with yourself.
Should I do the Pong variations joke again?
Cavity, which introduced the multiple balls on the playing field.
Breakout 2.
Progressive, where every few paddle bounces, the bricks would get lower and lower and lower. Similar in style to, say, something like a modern puzzle game like Puzzle Bobble.
Super Breakout was an updated version of Breakout. The end.
Wasn't the commercial for that like some dude trying to break out of prison or something? You really have to use your imagination with that.
It's the anti-Space Invaders.
What? Sorry.
In '76, you had Breakout released. Atari released Breakout.
It was a big game. Yeah, because, especially in the late 70s, you had Pong clones, you had space shooters, and Breakout style games was something different.
In '76, you had Al Alcorn as project manager for Breakout, and one of the people working under him was Steve Jobs.
It's interesting that...
Okay, just for reference, because I feel like this is important for historical purposes. I don't know why. This is what Pat looks like now. So this is Pat now. God damn it, dude. OBS is such a pain in the ass. Yeah, that's a high res pic. Let's shrink it down. Doing some Bob Ross ASMR shit right now. Let's shrink down that little guy. Give him a little friend. A little friend, no big deal. Let's just get the two pats together. My goodness. He has changed. I am not saying anything one way or the other, but I'm just saying he has changed. He's gone through a transformation. Not the same transformation that Ian went through. He went through some weird thing where I think he started out as male probably, and then he became trans, and then he detransed, and that's why he's so puffy, because of the testosterone, the steroids is what the word I'm looking for. That's why Ian looks the way he looks now. So anyway, I don't know why I pointed that out. I just thought it was funny. This is all for entertainment purposes. I have nothing against any of these people, by the way. And I don't like alcohol. I'm sober as fuck. If you guys want to pick on me on something and call me a drunk or whatever. Sock account guy over there is already doing it, so that's fine.
Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs worked on Breakout.
Steve Jobs, you might have heard of. He was the founder of Microsoft.
Pretty colors, bouncing ball, paddle, simple concept.
Brick bashing.
He was tasked with creating a prototype of the prototype design for the game, which he did.
The original Breakout was what they called a discrete logic game. Everything was done with the chips. What this means is the game is basically a machine.
However, then he was tasked with a further imperative to take out more of these chips, microchips
brother,
that
I don't
controlled the
care.
game, because those things be expensive.
I don't care who you
can't really say emulate this on a computer because there's no code for it to interpret.
Hanging out.
Atari
It's fine.
promised to give him a bonus of $100 for every chip he could take out of the design. So after 4 straight days of work, Wozniak delivered, taking out 50 chips from the original design, and Mr. Jobs pocketed that and gave Mr. Wozniak half of his original sum
I hate alcohol.
of payment,
I don't drink.
$700 into $375. So yeah, there was that.
Jobs kind of stiffed Wozniak on the bonus for making it happen.
Bad.
Wozniak's...
Bro, they literally had 4 YouTubers. Like, not even like... I mean, trust me, I don't want I Love the 80s. I tried that on here. I streamed it. The comedy is so bad. I can tell you right now, in all sincerity, I like this so much more than I Love the 80s, because the talking heads and the jokes were so bad. The dad jokes, the dad vibes, so hard. Dated. This is dated, though it holds up because there's not so many jokes made. They're just kind of talking about things. But yeah, I mean, if I'm gonna make fun of people, then people are gonna make fun of me. I mean, I feel that's only right in the world, right? Fucking Hal Sparks, Michael Ian Black, Hal Sparks, those were the 2 worst offenders. That's why I couldn't do it. You're an OG by even saying Hal Sparks. God, they were so unfunny. They were so it was so hard to watch those shows. And I liked them as a kid, though. When by kid, I mean like 14, 15. Like, I watched and I was like, yeah, I was barely around during the 80s. So, like, tell me about that. And I liked it. And then I tried to rewatch it. Oh, God. So fucking bad, dude. So cringy.
Work on Breakout.
Oh, yeah. Pro Jared's on here eventually. Trust me, guys. The deeper we get into this show, the better it will get.
It did inspire him in his design of the Apple II.
And inspired their motives when writing their programming language for the Apple around being able to create games similar to Breakout on it.
Came from Super Breakout.
Yeah.
Programming code.
His version of BASIC, the basic programming language, Integer Basic, which he put on there, definitely inspired, in turn, a lot of people to create their own games.
I wish things that were called basic were actually basic. I mean, I nearly flunked out of high school because I took a programming class my senior year. That's actually not a joke.
So basically what we're trying to say here is that you can trace all of Apple's success back to Breakout.
Apple II for life.
Be sure to download the RetroWare TV app from the Apple App Store.
Wink!
The legacy of Breakout and Super Breakout, you have games like, of course, the big one, Arkanoid.
I wonder if the RetroWare TV app is still available to download on the Apple App Store. I might look that up right now.
Be the best one
In
of the
fact,
whole
that's
lot.
exactly what I'm gonna
Breakout
do.
wound up innovating Japanese game development too. And we all know how that turned out. David Hasselhoff.
You have Thunder and Lightning, which 4 people have played.
Real gangsters program in assembly. What?
Breakout, good hit for Atari.
Good stuff. Still good stuff.
Insert coin.
I hate to tell you guys, I just looked it up. RetroWare TV, that app does no longer exist. In fact, when you buy Pat the NES's book, that he also had an app himself, which was pretty much the book. It was like $5, and I think the book was like 60. I bought the app because it had some game thing where you could like catalog all the games, like the NES games you owned, and it gave you like a helpful like price charting thing if you were like out in the field checking out games. It was the buggiest fucking, and Pat's complained about this. I don't think it's his fault per se. His developer, whoever, he bitched about how like bad and inefficient it was. Oh boy, was it! It was the buggiest fucking app I think I've ever used.
Do you know anything about the APF M1000?
You know what point you can say you officially have a problem as a video game collector? When you own an APF MP1000.
It may very well be the very first 8-bit console. And we should say
Oh, they
nothing more than
re-released
that
it?
because I know nothing
Shit.
about the system.
I done
If you
deleted
can
it
say
long ago.
that no
I
one
guess it's
owned the
better now.
RCA Studio 2, less than no one owned the APF MP1000.
It's the best system ever. It's advanced.
Throughout the 70s, APF released a lot of Pong clones, but it wasn't until 1978 that APF released their very first.
Hold on, no, dude, I would go and hold on. I just want to see what this dude with the bad audio, like, what the fuck website is he associated or?
Insert coin.
Oh my god, I fucking hate going backwards on OBS. It does it like 30 in intervals of 30 seconds. It's so annoying.
Do you know anything about the APF M1000?
You know what point you can say you officially have a problem as a video game collector? When you own an APF MP1000.
It may very well be the very first 8-bit console. And we should say nothing more than that because I know nothing about the system.
If you can say that no one owned the RCA Studio 2, less than no one owned the APF MP1000.
It's the best system ever. It's advanced.
Throughout the 70s, APF released a lot of Pong clones, but
Gamester81. I've heard that name before. Bad audio guy, Gamester81. He looks like Tommy Tallarico's fucking aborted, restarted brother. Restarted? What? I mean, another word. I don't know. Forget about this word. I don't know these words.
it wasn't until 1978 that APF released their very first console with interchangeable games, and that is known as the APF MP1000.
They weren't a huge company. They weren't Atari. They certainly weren't Magnavox. So when you put out a game console back then, it's almost like a crapshoot because this is the first generation of game consoles. There's no one to copy off of.
A really rare system, hard to find, but they had an attachment to it as well called the Imagination Station that would turn the system into a full-fledged computer, which is really cool for late 70s.
Which
was a computer.
Is very cool, and it let you code games for the MP1000.
Bro, he even sounds like a girlfriend nagging Pat. You could code games. Why don't you know this? I've told you this so many times. And you never listen to me. You don't take me out anymore. You don't look at me in the eyes when we make love, Pat. Why? Why not?
I have to be honest with you. If I was of age at the time to be into games, I would actually want that, but you would have to do that at the same time and entice me. You can't release a system with very little library and then release a really cool add-on a year or 2 years later and expect it to sell the system that didn't sell in the first place.
Very short-lived, unfortunately, but did live on a little bit into the late 80s through Emerson.
The game library was so generic. Games like Backgammon,
Breakdown,
Blackjack,
Shooting Gallery, and Pinball / Dungeon
The
Hunt
fuck are they even talking
way more
about?
exciting as Pinball Dungeon.
And again, I'm not trying to... I don't want to bash this system, but when you have a company come out with a system, you need a game that's going to... At least a couple of games, wow, I want to own that.
When Emerson released the Arcadia 2001 system, they actually recycled a lot of their cartridges, and so the cartridges are interchangeable. They don't play on each system, but at least they're the same cartridge itself.
They gave it their all. You have a fire button on the controller. The controllers are not that well put together.
But at least the fire button is lefty friendly.
It is lefty friendly. You have buttons on here. I don't know why I have this. I really don't.
And even the Arcadia 2001 system itself was very similar to the APF MP1000.
This is probably the last time a lot of you watching this will ever see one of these, so take a good look at the MP1000.
Nobody cares.
Pixel Dan presents the other toys of 1978.
Hey guys, I'm Pixel Dan, and this is the other toys of 1978.
You can stage make-believe battles against a Croyer. Like all Micronauts, a Croyer has interchangeable parts.
Micronauts were action figures that followed that same science fiction theme, but had the gimmick of interchangeability.
Playing Hungry, Hungry Hippos! Hungry, Hungry Hippos!
Hungry, Hungry Hippos! Come on, who didn't have this board game while growing up? The object of the game was to feed your hippos and collect the most marbles.
Hungry, Hungry Hippos, new from Hasbro.
Once a child wants to spell, the spell is cast. Speak and Spell from Texas Instruments.
Dude, I honestly, I would love a speak and spell. I like that robotic voice that it does. I wonder how much those things cost on eBay. That's another thing I'm about to look out on eBay.
And then there was the learning machine, the Speak and Spell. A, B, C. Yeah, you know, that thing that E.T. played with in the 80s. Yeah, that.
The Learning Center of Texas Instruments.
So there you go, guys. That's the other toys of 1978. Remember, video games aren't the only cool toys out there.
Round and round go the lights and the sound.
Oh, speak and spells aren't expensive at all on eBay. Well, that's cool. It's good to know. I might fetch me one of them. I want that weird, stupid robot voice that it has. I can sample that and use it, like, you know, maybe in my music. I don't know.
Simon picks up speed as he goes. Simon goes faster by leaps and by bounds. Simon wins by a nose.
Yeah, those memory games. I feel like I'm pretty good at those. Simon specifically, I think I was pretty good at that game. You know, the one that really fucked with the head was the bop it, twist it, pull it shit. The joke when I was growing up in the fucking 90s. Here's an old ass dated fucking corny ass joke for you. Bop it, twist it, pull it. Oh, that's what Pee Wee Herman did in the movie theater. Whatever. Pee Wee brought joy to us all with his character in the movie Pee Wee's Big Adventure. Great movie. Great movie. Gotta watch that movie. Can't miss with that movie. For some reason, the goth community has taken Pee Wee's Big Adventure into, I don't know why that, but it is what it is. A lot of alt gothy girls really like that movie. I don't understand. I've never talked to a girl. I've just like gotten adjacent to a girl, like in real life. I just stood next to one a few times, and I was just like, and they didn't they didn't react to that. And then they just walked away. And that's as close as I've ever gotten to scoring.
Push green, push red, push yellow, push blue. Push till you're blue in the face.
The Christmas season of 1978. And guess what? The #1 selling toy.
God, this guy's vagina fucking sounding voice. Jesus Christ. I'm so tired of hearing it.
Toy of 78 is.
I know.
What is it, John?
Simon!
Simon.
So in 1978, Milton Bradley released Simon.
So Ralph Baer is a god.
Ralph Baer takes Atari's game Touch Me from 1974 and makes his own little handheld game called Simon.
Touch Me.
Ralph Baer kinda ripped off Atari for the concept of Simon.
The great irony is that in the early 70s, Nolan Bushnell visited an expo and a demonstration of Ralph Baer's brown box,
which later became the Odyssey.
His brown box was ripped off by Atari for Pong.
which then made Atari a gigantic hit.
Right. It led to the 2600, etc.
Yeah, Atari's huge. And then years later, Ralph Baer sees Atari's game Touch Me and then improves upon that and creates Simon.
Revenge.
All's fair in love and video games, I guess.
Simon is a computer-controlled game.
Yes, with 5 different ways of playing. 5.
It would spit out a pattern of colors and blips, and you had to match it. And obviously, the more you went on, the more difficult it became.
It's 4 big, bright, colorful buttons.
Red, blue, green, red. You guys know what I'm talking about.
What if I don't want to push the red button?
This is easy.
Your move, Simon.
It entertained me for like a millisecond, and I was off to throwing dirt at my sister.
The fact that you have big candy buttons that you slam with your whole hand, that makes all the difference.
Red. Red, green.
Red, green.
Son of a bitch. And that's why everyone hates Simon.
Simon! God, Simon is still great.
It would be a big event on the schoolyard with everyone gathered around. It was in a challenge. Here comes Johnny Simon to play it.
You know, Simon actually made his first appearance at Studio 54 of all places.
The place where I used to get my groove on.
Simon, disco lights, Simon, lit floor panels.
There's 6 more minutes to this episode. I'm praying for them to end quickly and swiftly, because I will end this shit so fast after this shit. It's too much. It's too much! I think 2 episodes of this per stream. I don't know. I'll probably do it next time. I don't know. I just feel like Joe Biden right now.
I get it.
I can just imagine Sharon, Mick Jagger cutting up lines of coke on it.
Yet celebrities pushing Simon. I don't know why.
And you want to play Simon?
And it became ubiquitous. Well, not only just Simon, but the clones, many clones that came out with it.
That same year, because it was so successful, a whole series of clone versions of Simon came out as well.
Parker Brothers released a version called Merlin.
Merlin had multiple games, but Merlin also had a Simon Says kind of game as well.
Tiger Electronics released a version called Copycat.
Copycat, huh? How fitting, you ripoff.
And then Atari actually released their own handheld version of Touch Me.
Simon was released in 78, and they're still making, to this date, 2012.
Fucking McLovin, shut the fuck up, dude. You were funny and super bad. That's about
versions of Simon.
They sell the big one, they sell smaller ones because they don't need to have like weird 15-volt systems or whatever
pep nips
freak they were.
That's really showing the longevity of this product, and that's a sign of its success as well.
Simon was a ploy.
Oh God, here we go.
Simon was a ploy.
Red, green, yellow, blue, yellow.
I like how the green screen keys out the green button and it just shows the background. Because this is like a super professional thing, bro.
Yellow.
There's gonna be a time when that signal's gonna go off and the children of the corn will rise again.
High score.
From
From what we understand, when Warner Communications bought Atari, there was a 7-year non-competition clause that you had to sign. That 7 years is up, if I'm correct, this year, in October of this year. First, 10 o'clock.
Well, with the video game crash, Atari was looking really.
The video game crash didn't even happen until the fucking 80s. They're in 78 right now. What the fuck video game crash? Was there another video game crash? Like the early shitty video games that nobody remembers, that nobody would have been old enough to play? Is that what you're talking about?
Really bad right now.
But they're going to act like they know about it as if they were there. When they either they weren't born, or if they were alive, they were like so small that they would have no experience with this shit, but they're going to talk about with authority. I'm pissed. I am pissed that they're doing that. I don't like that. I'm going to show a fat pat right now. That's what you get for talking about this shit. You didn't play these games. Stop acting like you know. Hold on. I'm going to wobble his face around. How do you like that? Does that do anything for anybody? I bet it does. You fucking perverts. Jesus Christ, what's wrong with you people?
By 1978, Warner Communications had purchased Atari.
Warner Communications buying Atari was a big change in the culture at Atari.
Oh, let's make some games. Let's make profit now.
For the first time in the history of video games as an industry, it had now become corporate.
That's where it all started, back in the 70s.
The party was coming to an end. It was like the end of a Fish concert. Hippies and drugs, gotta go.
After the purchase, Bushnell was kept on as CEO, but the company was actually hurting pretty bad from their low Christmas sales back in '77.
I mean, the 1977 Christmas sales were horrible. Is this boring you?
It was a result of shipping problems that prevented Atari from getting all their stock on shelves in time for Christmas.
Speak some German. Also, ich konnte, wann du's musstest. Jesus Christ, that's a hard word to speak when the alcohol starts kicking in, isn't it? Ich konnte, wenn du musstest, was hätte mich gesehen? Gesehen? No, gesehen is you saw. Sprachen, probably the right one. Whatever. Don't catch me off guard like that. You just caught me off guard. Now I'm all fucked up.
There wasn't really any good games in the system yet. You had a glut of handhelds.
The other problem was that there were too many similar products available. It's kind of like the confused grandparents setting out to buy their kids Transformers, but then they see GoBots, and they're like, forget it, we'll just get them rocking horses.
Bushnell would have differences of opinion
Also, ich versuche meine Bestes. Es tut mir
His
leid.
relationship with some of the more corporate aspects of the new ownership didn't really meld.
And so he was, for all intents and purposes, fired from the company.
He was fired on his own accord, and he was kept from working in the video game industry for many years afterwards.
The Odyssey 2 came out with a keyboard and was billed as more than just a video game system. It's an education system. And your kids will be smarter and they'll be able to beat the Russians in boxing and go into the moon and stuff.
Atari sees Odyssey with their fancy keyboard and their happy soccer moms with their educational software and thinks, yep, that's for us.
Things with keyboards were thought of as for the more intelligent children.
So to combat the Odyssey, Atari released their own version of the keyboard, but it was a little ill-fated.
Despite that, they did release some pretty interesting titles. Let me look at what those were.
Atari started releasing sports games to combat the Odyssey 2, and one of them was basketball. First time a 3D-ish perspective was used in a video game,
Bro,
and there was
shit's
no
so boring.
comparison.
Who gives
the Odyssey
about
version of
shit about
basketball
this
looked like
70s
balls,
shit?
and the Atari VCS version looked less like balls.
So there was no real reason to go and jump and get the system. They tried. They did a port of Space War.
The very first vector graphics arcade game. But they called it Space War, and there was a space between space and war, unlike the original game that was simply called Space War.
Warner, which actually did really well.
Because of Space Invaders, they were actually able to sell 500,000 stockpiled VCS machines for Christmas of '78.
I like that comment. No wonder my ex was cheating on me in 2012. I was busy watching this nonsense. Yeah, dude. You brought it on yourself. You were so fucking hyper fixated on this fucking amazing show, and then your girlfriend, who was there and ready for you, was like, I'm gonna sneak out the window. I'm going with Tyrone. Quite frankly, I'm going with Tyrone. If you're gonna sit here and watch this shit, here's the deal. I'm sneaking out the window. I'm hanging out with Jacquees and his homeboys. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. And that's what happened. And good for her. She stretched her outer limits of making decisions. You fucking pervert. You didn't know what I was gonna say. But yeah, no, that happened.
8.
And eventually made the Atari 2600 the biggest video game console of the late 70s, early 80s, until they inadvertently caused the crash of '83. But don't get ahead of me.
Leonardo DiCaprio actually owns the movie rights to the story. He has the biopic in production, and he's had it in pre-production for the last few years. Can you imagine anyone better than Leonardo DiCaprio to play Nolan Bushnell?
No, I can't.
Thank God. Oh my God. Holy fuck. Who gives a fuck about any of that shit? Whatever. We're gonna go. That was only 7. Hey guys, I hate to tell you this. That was only 77 and 78. We got 79. You know how exciting that year was. I mean, it's a great Smashing Pumpkins song, obviously, but we got to go through 79, then 80. Oh, man, it's going to be a slog. Only people who are here who are like for self... You know what? I have an audience. Kind of want to watch the Tim Koppel... Was it Ted Koppel? Yeah, Ted Koppel. The interview he did with David Miscavige for Scientology. I'm killing my stream on purpose right now, but I do want to watch this. The stream is essentially over. If you're sticking around at this point, you're just abusing yourself. I don't think I would get struck on this. Ted Koppel, David Miscavige, Scientology. I don't know, dude. I love Scientology. I find it like it's such a fascinating cult that's still going on. And I want to watch it. Oh my God, you got to be kidding me. It's an hour long? Nah, fuck it. That's not going to happen. I'll probably get struck anyway. I need to not do that. I probably need to just end the stream. My lawyers have advised me off screen. Yeah, okay. Yeah, they just advised me. I need to go. So, until next time.